100 News.
Oh, we haven't talked to 𝗬𝗍 in a while.
By the way, 𝗬𝗍 has a stand-up special on DVD. I'm going to give 𝗬𝗍 a plug because he does such a good job with the news. Oh, there's his news jacket.
Look at him in the news jacket.
Yeah. Boy, somehow he
It's
really...
not mine, Howard. I couldn't find my news jacket. This is Lisa G's news jacket.
You know what? Somehow you make that whole look work. I don't know how. By the way, 𝗬𝗍 put out... what's the name of the DVD? I watched it.
Call of 𝗬𝗍.
Yeah, Call of 𝗬𝗍.
Israeli Funny is the name of the DVD.
Hey, and 𝗬𝗍 is surprisingly funny. I always thought that 𝗬𝗍 maybe was a shitty stand-up.
You thought he was a hack stand-up.
Yeah, I mean, because you see 𝗬𝗍 in the halls, you go, he can't possibly know what he's doing. But then I started to realize during the news how funny you are. And then when you're on with Jay Thomas, how funny you are and all that.
One of the coolest things
I said, maybe he could do stand-up. And so the proof is in the pudding. There is a DVD. How do you get that fucking thing?
You can go to my site, 𝗬𝗍_wild.com, and you can pick it up there.
See, he is funny.
But it was so cool that day because you actually stopped and, you know, at first you think like he's just saying something nice to be a nice guy.
Right.
But then he started quoting jokes from the DVD, and I was like, wow, he
joke.
really watched it.
Tell Robin the joke about how, you know, he has a lot of relatives in Israel because 𝗬𝗍's like a real Jew from Israel.
He came from Israel, yeah.
Right.
And
so
they always invite you back home.
Well, yeah, they call me, you know, because we talk from time to time, and they call me up, and they always go, so, when are you going to? And then you just hear, when are you coming to visit us out here? Like, you out of your fucking mind? I need to visit you guys out there? Yeah.
You had me with that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great if that was just a record they played because they don't want 𝗬𝗍 to come home?
Good night, believe me.
Yeah, right.
It's
they have
no
it on the
record.
background. I don't know. It was just so great. But anyway, great job on the
Thank
DVD.
you, man. Thank
Go
you
to
so much.
𝗬𝗍wild.com. Get 𝗬𝗍's new DVD.
All right.
Yeah, what do you got for us in the news?
Look out, Charlie Sheen. This Saturday night, Ronnie Munn takes the stage at the Allentown Brew Works in Allentown, PA, to host Ronnie Munn's Block Party. The event will feature comedy sets from myself, comedian John Toll, as well as a Q&A session with Scott the Engineer, who will also serve
Q&A.
What is this?
Who will also serve as DJ for the night. Scott says he plans on interacting with the audience and wants to get people to go get on stage and dance.
There's nothing like a guy with zero personality doing a Q&A. I mean, here, Fred, you be Scott the Engineer.
Hello.
Scott, so what's your favorite kind of music?
Oh.
You're already out of there. I mean, can you imagine he's going to do a Q&A? Has nothing to say.
Ronnie's Block Party.
Any music.
Ronnie's on
all music. Hey.
Ronnie's
I like it all.
Yeah, good. Ronnie's on fire.
Wow.
Why do you bother doing appearances, Scott? No one wants to see you. You have nothing to say. You want for money?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Would they pay you some decent money?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's a few bucks, and I can use it.
All right, well, that makes sense.
With the cost of gas. I mean, you know.
I tried to get him some extra cash. I told him there's a guy out there that I know that is willing. He has a dunk tank,
yeah,
and he's willing to set it up. And I told him that if he'd be willing to sit in the dunk tank and let the audience throw stuff at him, and if they can dunk him, he can keep a percentage of the money. He said he would do that.
I didn't say that.
Well,
so, so here's Scott doing stand-up comedy.
I didn't say I would do it. Thank you.
You're really considering going in a dunk tank?
I was for. I said, let me think about it. I didn't say yes.
Let me tell you where he drew the line. The next thing was I told him the other idea we had is to paint a target on his head and let people shoot those plastic darts at their head, the suction cup darts.
Yes.
And he's like, no, that I'm not doing.
That's undignified.
That's humiliating.
But I will be fucked in the ass for a patio.
I'm not doing that, I'll tell you. A dunk tank is one thing. Having darts shot at your head is another.
I'll let guys jerk off on my face, but dunk tank, no.
Yeah.
I'll let a guy jerk off on my face, but no fucking me in the ass. No. My wife put a stop to that.
He's so desperate for cash. He was really going to let a guy fuck him in the ass. On stage.
You're surprised he would go into a dunk tank?
Dunk tank. I still say he let darts be shot at him.
The funniest thing
That's
about
not
that,
happening.
It would.
The funniest thing about that is you guys had the whole horse blanket plan. Put his head poking out of a horse blanket.
I look like Seabiscuit.
Look, I don't want anyone seeing the cock going into my ass.
That's personal.
the problem.
We had him for $250,000. Big, thick cock going right in his ass.
To tell you the truth, I would have done it for $200,000.
I decided not to do it
Discount.
because my son and wife sat me down and said they were against it.
Well, you remember
really?
when he first talked to her? She said,
She was all for it.
well, she said if you last past the time limit, they should get extra. If you go past 2 minutes,
That's called golden time.
Yeah.
she said you should get extra for every minute you go over.
This is embarrassing to bring up, but I'd like extra pay if I go more than the 2.5
And if he
minutes.
shoots it in my ass, I want triple scale.
So you were planning on letting him really ram you for a long time, huh?
You were shooting for $1 million.
Whatever.
Yeah. If I go 15 minutes to a half hour, I think I deserve $1 million.
What do you think, honey?
Well, you know what I could do, Scott? What if I get like 5 guys to fuck you in the ass? Then we could definitely make sure they last.
Wait, what if I give them foot jobs while I'm getting fucked in the ass?
What if I give 2 hand jobs while I get in the ass?
And they can fuck my armpits. I can have a midget squat on my nose.
Hey, a man does what he has to do for his family, and then it's not a totally offensive act to me.
My ass puts food on the table.
What was your plan? Were you going to enema and stuff like beforehand? So
I had no plan.
If I was you,
don't
I'd
know.
want that shit to come out so the guy might pull out.
Yeah, I don't know what I was going to do, really. I had
Imagine
no
if
idea.
Scott had like an orgasm.
Oh,
He came in his pants.
No, that wasn't going to happen.
This is a bonus.
No.
No way, I'm not gay.
What are you whispering over?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Howard,
You get out of here.
What is it, Ronnie? What?
Dude.
What?
Come on.
Ronnie, tell him.
What do you got there, Ronnie?
So Scott's going to DJ this thing,
Yeah.
and he thinks he's going to a bar mitzvah. He's going to throw out sunglasses like you give the giveaways out,
Yeah.
Right.
and the little things that light up around your neck and stuff. He's going to throwing them out to the crowd.
What's so funny about that?
It's
Funny.
It's
It's funny.
It's going to be a
It's
screen.
goofy. That's the problem.
Meanwhile,
that's what it's going to be
It's
great.
gonna be a screen.
Memento.
That's why it
Ronnie's
should
on
be
some
great.
sort of weird tear, too. Did anybody know about this?
He's a big star now.
Yeah. He's got, when is your meeting with the TV show?
Possibly tomorrow. I'll know
to this.
tomorrow. I'll know tomorrow
Listen to this,
morning. I
Rob.
can't really talk about what it is.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right, what is this?
You know how long you've been waiting to get your own TV show?
Sure.
Okay, you consider yourself pretty professional and everything? Okay, well, Ronnie is passing all of us by.
Actually, the show. I can tell you the show is called Wheels. That's what I can tell you.
Okay.
This week, he has a meeting. In fact, he came to me. He's got to get an agent.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I talked to my agent about
He's
I had to
at
talk to my
such
agent
a
about Ronnie.
level that
What'd he
he
say?
needs an agent.
You should call him.
Okay.
But anyway, he's getting offered some television show, like a sitcom or something.
Really?
All right? Isn't it some sort of sitcom?
Yeah.
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 So this is
So-
an acting gig.
Yesterday, I'm sitting at my desk, and Gary forwards me an email. Did Gary send you the email?
No.
I haven't given it to me because Ronnie doesn't have email.
Yes,
No,
I
Ronnie
do.
does.
Oh, when did that happen?
Oh, when I got my BlackBerry back in December.
Yeah, he has an email now. I didn't even know either. I'm like, I have shit to send him, and I'm like, shit, I wish Ronnie could email me while he had it. So yesterday, I get this email from a big television network. They want Ronnie to have his own talk show.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not
He's going to
fucking kidding.
replace Oprah.
And they go, look, Howard, we're asking you because we don't want to be disrespectful
Dude.
because we know there are demands on Ronnie's time, and we don't think it would take up much of his time. So
You mean he could do the show and still do this?
and still drive the car for me. So,
Or is this another more Ronnie show?
no. This is just a regular fucking television show on a network.
Okay.
Where like they describe that you'll be like a Keith Olbermann, like where
Right.
you give your thoughts on things.
Really?
Yeah. So I get this, and they said, Gary goes, "What should I do with this?" I said, "Send it to Ronnie."
Yeah.
So let him go see if
He's
he
got
can.
offers.
Yeah. So you got another television show that they want you
Dude,
for.
okay.
But I don't mean for like a guest. I mean your
Dude.
own show.
Like your show, where you are the Glenn Beck or something?
Well, not Glenn Beck, but more like they describe Keith Olbermann.
Okay.
Yeah. No chalkboard for Ronnie.
Dude. Okay. Cool.
What do you think of that?
I think it's great.
You're finally going
If
to be
it's
out
true,
of
I
that
think it's
car.
great. Dude. I don't know what's a joke around here anymore.
No joke. I swear to God, I'm not fucking with you. I got to sit in a car with you all day.
Cool.
I
I
ain't gonna
can't
fuck with you.
believe this.
Yeah.
Well, what if he can't do both? He's got two offers
I won't give
now.
this up.
You
Never-
won't?
I'll never give this up.
Hollywood
Really?
is calling.
Absolutely not.
Well, this is his safety net.
But wait a minute. Where do these shows shoot? In New York?
New York.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Into Balkans.
I'll make sure they shoot in New York. I'll be executive producing, of course. Anyway, so
Me and
goodness.
𝗏𝗵𝗲
so anyway, Gary has some email for you.
Okay.
Give him your email address.
Okay.
And you got some big offer.
All right, great.
All right.
Thanks, man.
You got to be able to be reached now if you're going to be in demand.
I have email. I have everything.
No, now he's the whole executive.
I mean, I tried to get Gary to be my guy on BlackBerry, but he never answered me. You know, what is that? Instant?
The instant messaging?
Yeah, the instant. He never
BlackBerry
answered, so.
Well, now that you have 2 shows, maybe he will. You know, he's a star fucker.
I got to go pick out some outfits, Miss Howard TV now.
All right, go ahead.
Very important.
That's your job.
That'll be another show on Bravo.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you. There he is.
Project Runway.
You think
Runway?
that show Wheels is about guys who have wheels in their living room?
No,
like
I mean,
Ronnie?
but
like
it's
with his
really,
tie?
it's like a sitcom for like men, you
That's
know.
cool.
Yeah, and it's Ronnie's show.
Who's more manly than Ronnie?
So
No
they're having a sit down with Ronnie to feel each other out.
Oh, so they still want to
Ronnie
check him out.
needed my advice. Should I go in there with a representative? And I said, yeah. I said, but who are you going to get? He got some buddy as some sort of agent.
Oh, really?
He's going to go over there with
Did he
him.
wear a skull shirt to the meeting?
Yeah. Hey, hello, I'm here for the meeting.
Here's my shark tattoo. Talk to the shark.
And then evidently this other TV network wants him for his own like talk show.
That's amazing. And who fired him? JD.
Yeah. I had him first, and JD fired him. Big dummy. Who knew I had such a hot commodity?
I know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Anyway, Shirley, hey, good report.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. And good job on that CD. What's the website again?
It's 𝗧𝗵𝗶 𝗪𝗏.com.
Scott, you all right, man? All right.
Howard, this is going to be... Howard TV's coming to film this show
I
this
should
weekend.
hope.
And Scott will be DJing and...
Yeah, right
And
now...
doing whatever. We're going to have a great time at Ronnie's block party.
Where's this going to be?
it's in Allentown, PA at the Allentown Brew Works.
And you're doing comedy?
Yeah,
not-
yeah.
I
he's
think you're
doing
going to be
comedy.
handling the bulk of the chores. it looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah. Me and this guy, John Toll, is a great comic, national touring
Ronnie's
comic.
block party is going to be Ronnie coming out and screaming into the mic, Scott coming out and screaming out a few things, and then you guys actually doing the heavy lifting. All right, very good.
I'm laughing because Scott immediately said, "No, I won't be doing
No more
comedy."
comedy.
Although you could fuck me in the ass on the stage.
You remember when he tried it in Cleveland? He,
Oh, do I remember? It was the
He got
greatest.
You didn't have to bring that up again, did you? Thank you. Good. That reminds me, I got a great, this is a true story. We get off the plane today, me and Artie, and we're walking through the airport, and a guy comes up to us, and he goes, "Hey, guy, how you doing?" He recognized us. He goes, "Can I get a picture?" And we go, "Fine." Take a picture. The guy turns to me, hands me the camera, and goes, "Do you mind?" Oh, fuck him. What, do I look like a photographer?
You hear the guys in the audience going,
I'm like a
"Fuck
bald retarded Seinfeld.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is a true story.
That was funny.
F you.
it's never good
I'm
when
not making this up.
First of all, you know that wasn't a true story. Secondly,
No, it was. Absolutely
was?
a true story. Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
You have such the gift of
You
gab.
can ask Artie.
it's never good when you have to keep yelling louder and louder through your joke.
And you've got a microphone.
Yeah, you're like, so I was walking through the up, and then the guy turned around.
Fuck you!
Why aren't they listening?
I was so wasted, I had no idea.
You know,
what it was.
if you'll all calm down and listen, you might have a good time.
If I was George Carlin, you'd love this.
It's like literally.
What is it, Shirley? What could Scott possibly do to get the audience to quiet down?
Shoot
He
myself.
set foot on stage, and they went ape shit.
There's something about him that just does not command respect, right?
Like, one guy I thought I heard go home. Like, go home.
Loser.
Fuck yourself.
Shit. I get no fucking respect. You know, we have a band on the show called The Losers. And the reason it's called The Losers is because it was named after me. I'm the head loser. Now, the total disrespect is I got kicked out of the fucking band.
Where's a joke?
He's out of breath.
Okay, I need a
What is
punchline.
it? He's out of breath from yelling over
Like
the audience.
like he's running in a race or something. We have a band called The Losers.
I give you the punchline, but I have COPD. I can't breathe.
Baldy Dangerfield. And the second word is I get no respect.
Why are you so out of breath?
I was like, A lot heavier then, too, I think.
You weren't in shape.
What were you doing?
You were just standing.
What
were you doing?
You weren't in shape to talk.
I wasn't in shape to walk onto the stage.
I'm
That's
not in
the
shape to
problem.
sweat.
Go ride a bike for a year.
You see, if everybody comes Saturday, they're going to have a great time. You can fuck around with me. Come on. I'm the head loser and I get kicked out? What kind of bullshit is that?
I can't catch my breath. I'm having a heart attack.
Checking his pulse. Imagine somebody bringing him a chair on stage. Scott, sit down.
Is there a crash cart in the building?
2 jokes in, I'm winded. I should have paced myself.
I'd like to do my impression of an asthmatic crow.
Go Cavaliers! Yeah, Cleveland, let's go!
That's the last shot.
You're booing that.
Yeah.
I'm portrayed as the sad sack of the show, the fucking loser, but I just want to say something, you know?
I just want to say something. He's up on stage. Say something already.
The guy, as soon as he goes, I want to say something. They go, you fucking suck.
You lose the crowd as soon as you say, I just want to say something. You're there to say something. Say something.
If my wife doesn't have an emotional friend, that's for sure. Right? I don't have monkey teeth and sewer breath. Both. How you doing? I'm both.
You're an impressionist. Well,
yeah,
that's different. You were doing impressions.
I'm like a rich little.
There you go.
Or not so rich little.
I'm broke little.
Unlike the man that brought me here tonight, Bob Levy, I live upstairs in my house, and the only thing I put blue cheese on is my chicken wings.
Whoa.
It's like instead of a rim
Terrible.
shot, it's exhaling.
And you hear some guy. Get over here! Oh, the whole noise. There's a. Fuck you, girl!
Kill yourself.
Oh my God! What does
Thank
that
you.
do to your self-esteem?
The worst.
Well, Scott, it does nothing.
You know, I don't feel bad. You booed all the best, so I don't give a shit if you boo me anyway. And I didn't lose a multi-million-dollar house, a wife, 3 kids, and Java the dog in a divorce. So what the fuck?
Yeah, look at me. I'm a loser.
Yeah. Yeah, you're up there sweating and breathing.
Yeah.
And getting told to fuck off.
People are yelling at me, fuck off, but look at Howard, he's a loser. I didn't lose Java the dog.
Meanwhile, you lost your fucking house in your first marriage, you fucking maniac. And guess what? I have a new house and you don't.
Go Cavaliers! Jesus Christ, this stand-up is exhausting.
Maybe I should have said, go Indians.
Yeah.
Hey, Vay.
It's like.
Yeah. You are witness to my comic debut. How am I doing? I fucking love Cleveland. I love Cleveland. It's fucking great.
I told you should have gotten fucked
That's
in the
enough.
ass.
Would have been less painful than that.
I'd rather do that. And they would have shut up for that.
Oh yeah. All you would have heard was cameras clicking, not a beat.
Yeah. What is it, Marianne?
Howard, we all went to see Shuley on Friday night, and even Rob Burnett was there, and it was a sick, great show. We had a blast.
Rob Burnett was there?
Yeah, that's what they were telling
That's a
me.
big break for you.
I know.
Pictures and everything, and he watched the whole show, and it was awesome. And Howard,
How soon is he going to hustle you up onto Letterman?
Well, I think it was going well till 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗛 tried to come on stage, and he tripped and fell face first into the window that was behind the stage. So the show took a little turn there.
All right, Shuli. And
Thanks,
we look
Howard.
forward to your DVD on
JewGoneWild.com.
JewGoneWild.com. Scott,
Call
anything you want to
Shuli.
promote? You're going to be this weekend. You're going to be with Ronnie's block
This
party.
weekend in Allentown at the Brew Works and at Harrah's in Atlantic City. I'll be DJing for real.
Excellent.
So
All
you
right.
can come
Very
out.
good. Thank you, boys.
Bring your great questions to the Brewworks.
Any questions, or Scott might even work up some new material.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. Excellent. Excellent report. Hey, John, you want to come on in? John Hine, everybody. John Hine's going to tell you what's happening on the wrap-up show. Johnny boy, what do we have? I say, what do we have?
John Hine never masturbate.
Howard, Ronnie's block party will be happening this Saturday, and everyone is wondering if this could be the big break that Scott the engineer and Ronnie have been looking for.
Right.
We'll see what everyone's expectations are for this event, Scott, who will be conducting a Q&A, recalled his willingness to get fucked in the ass for $250,000 and not being in shape for his Cleveland stand-up debut. How Ronnie asked Howard...
I never even finished the tape. Maybe you guys should finish it on the wrap-up show.
Of what?
You know, I forgot that, like, we were in the middle of Scott the Engineer's stand-up tape.
Yes.
And I didn't even get to the best parts.
You're kidding, because the parts you played were pretty good.
I know. I didn't even realize we were in the middle of it. I got distracted. There was so much going on during that segment.
Is Gary page 2?
My wife doesn't have an emotional friend. That's for sure. Right?
He's actually going to go out and do this again. And listen,
no, he says this time he's just going to be a DJ.
No.
Now he's doing
and do a Q&A.
Q&A. You think that's going to go well? Listen to those people in the audience. They want to kill him. Fuck you, you fucking asshole. Go home, you fuck.
You keep fast forwarding. Get to like, I think he starts yelling about people talk about his son's band sucking.
I fucking love Cleveland. I love Cleveland. It's fucking great.
Listen to that.
I've been... What? I'm a fat fuck? You're right! I'm a fat fuck!
Your son and his band sucks!
A what?
Your son's band sucks!
My son band sucks, that's right. I agree with everything you say, and I'm a fucking asshole, too.
It's going so
He
poorly.
starts listening to the audience. They're getting louder than him.
I think that's why he's calling it a Q&A. It just kind of turns into one. What's that? What? My band's son suck? Sure. That's right. My band's son suck.
There's a lot of Q, but very little A.
The audience seems to have many, many questions.
I don't have an answer.
I suck. Yes. Yes, I suck. I suck.
I
agree. My band's son suck. Yeah, I know.
What's that? I should eat shit and die? Okay. Give me a plate and a fork.
What stand-up is that?
You know...
Like Shuli says, he's out of breath. We don't even know why. We got on the stage for 30 seconds and he's out of breath. What's that disease he has? CPM?
COPD.
COPD.
I have COPD. You people are going to kill me.
I have COPD and I'm a DOPE.
I wanted to dispel some rumors about Howard. Everybody said he doesn't take care of his staff, but that's not true. A few years ago, I went to Howard. I was desperate. I needed some money.
Oh,
push-ups. Let me finish, all right?
You're rushing the story.
You're blowing the joke.
You got somewhere to go?
Let's get back to the action.
I'm waxing poetic.
A few years ago, I went to Howard. I needed some money, and within 24 hours, he came up with this great fucking idea.
This is booing him. Now they're outright booing
And
him.
he thinks, I guess, the F word is like a good word to use in comedy.
Yeah, you know, George Carlin was a master at that. Chris Rock.
That's right. Chris Rock's had a huge career with the F word, and he uses the N word as well.
Try it on for size. Oh, maybe I should use the N word. Nigga.
Nigga, but I'll say nigga out of breath.
Fuck.
Get fucked in the ass by Lexington Steel. Come on, fuck me in the ass.
Okay.
What's better than that? Public humiliation, anal abuse, and...
Public humiliation? What do you think is worse than that? Public humiliation? Hello? Any other questions?
You think it's easy saying humiliation with COPD?
Public humiliation?
Public humiliation and what else?
By the way, the sad part is Lexington Steel didn't even want to fuck him in the ass.
He turned him down.
That's right. He said, look, I'm not gay.
12 solid inches. Push-ups.
Push-ups?
Anybody else had anything?
Push-ups? I can do something on that.
He's so distracted. He's like King Kong on top of the Empire State Building. Everything is distracting. He's swatting all over the place. He's really got control over that crowd.
See push-ups. Yeah, push-ups. You know I can't do fucking push-ups. You saw that?
Oh, now you admit it, huh?
Yeah, he took our money, though.
Right.
On the show.
Fucking.
You know, one of the questions I'm sure we'll get tonight is, what is Howard really like off the air? How the fuck do I know? He doesn't give me the time of day after the show.
All right, that was a good one. Come on. Bring that one out at the Q&A.
That'll be my opener.
That's a good one.
Allentown.
That's a keeper.
I mean, if there was a party and there were 2 invitations left, I would be, and 3 people being considered, me, Daniel Carver, and Don Imus, who would win? Not me.
I appear to be out of breath again. Every time I bomb, I
out of
lose
breath
my...
and out of punchlines.
I don't know. I think he runs out of punchlines first.
I never considered a punchline. I'm looking at premises right now.
I should just punch myself.
Well, push-ups, anybody?
I'd like to do my impression of sawing wood.
Can't wait for that Q&A, Robin.
Push-ups, that's like his topless.
T-O-P-L-E-S-S?
P-U-S-H.
P-U-S-H-U-P-S?
U-P-S? Push-ups.
Fuck all of them. Do I give a shit? You know, I
His
used
stand-up is exhausting.
He's still going for it, though.
Yeah.
I would have bailed a long time ago.
Yeah, there's no shame. Q&A. When is this Q&A?
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
Can't wait.
Yeah. And
Will he answer any question?
like is he gonna come? Is he gonna have anything prepared? Is he just gonna come and go?
Hello, everybody. Any questions?
Downtown, yeah. That's right. I am a piece of shit. Yeah.
My sunbands suck.
Yeah.
That's right. Fuck me in the ass. That's right. I saw Howard in the hall today.
He didn't talk to me. Yeah.
This is a true story.
They're advertising a Scott the Engineer Q&A.
I love Cleveland until I saw this fucking crowd.
Boo.
What the fuck is wrong with these people, right? What the fuck is going on here?
Fuck.
Oh, come on. It's ridiculous. They should Lenny Bruce that place and close it down. Where's Richard Coe when you need him? He was the prosecutor that took care of Lenny Bruce. He should go after Scott. Lenny at least had some punchlines.
They don't appreciate a good show. But wait. I got something for you. Hold on.
What's this?
Hey, if you laugh, I got some T-shirts. Who wants a T-shirt? Come on. Yeah, there you go. Wait a minute. Come on. Hold on.
I think if he keeps talking, it drowns out the crowd.
Hey, who wants a T-shirt over here? Come on, you got to laugh, all right?
What are they laughing at? Him handing out T-shirts?
Yeah. Chris Rock ought to do that. Hand out T-shirts in the middle of
If
the show.
you laugh, I'll hand you a T-shirt.
Come on, you gotta laugh. This is a stand-up show.
Berating the audience.
Yeah. That was a Howard TV shirts. They're very rare. I don't even have one. You know,
what'd that guy say?
I want my money back.
Well, you can't have it.
At a young age, my parents told me I had a black cloud over me. You know, and I'm not going to deny that terrible things have happened to me. Like this audience, you suck.
Oh. You know, if Scott would just get up there and talk honestly about his miserable life, it probably would be hilarious.
He'd have plenty of material.
Yeah.
Not winning.
He'd get up and say, not winning.
Who the hell?
Anything but winning.
Not winning.
Where's the perfect life?
Here. It's an audience full of perfect lives.
I even got caught cheating on my wife. And you know where I got caught cheating? Anybody know? Right here in fucking Cleveland. Yeah!
What's that all about?
You remember that.
No, I don't.
Well, that's Scott's story. Why doesn't he talk about that? You really don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
Did he ever talk about that?
I don't know. He did?
He did on the air?
He spoke about that.
No. Did the whole story come out on the air?
That's his story to tell.
Yeah, because I can't remember what's public knowledge and what I learned in private.
I don't know anything about this.
Yeah. You don't? No, you see, you do, but you don't.
I don't remember it.
He's so not memorable. You don't even remember the fact that he cheated on his wife.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, you want to give us the rundown on that?
You brought it up.
You guys don't even remember?
I poured out my soul.
He's not coming in.
My empty soul.
Scott, what was that story? Just give us the brief outline again. I mean, you don't have to go into every detail, but
I'm sorry, I'm crying. It's so bad.
What was it again? We went.
I have no idea. I don't remember either. I'm like Robin.
Did you speak about that on the air?
It was the Revelation show.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What did you reveal exactly?
I just revealed that I got caught with someone from Cleveland. That's all I revealed.
You didn't reveal.
There's nothing more.
Did you reveal?
That's enough.
Did you reveal the?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh. I don't know either.
No.
Was it a guy? What did?
Wait, Arnold Schwarzenegger's on the phone.
The guy? No, I didn't reveal the
Schwarzenegger's
guy.
on the phone. He wants to high five you. Hello, Baldy. High five.
You mean the time when I was younger?
Did you reveal that it was?
No.
Yes, you did.
No. It wasn't.
It was a tranny.
It wasn't her?
It was a tranny.
Because they're saying on the notes you did reveal that. Oh, you didn't? Okay, good. All right.
I don't know what
the guys in the office are saying that he did. I don't remember.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't remember on the air and off the air, Howard, quite honestly.
Oh, we don't remember. Who knew he was a stud?
I'm like a bloated 𝗵𝗲 𝗪𝗃𝗍𝗍.
Nothing else happened. I revealed everything on the air that was...
Oh, you did? All right.
Yeah.
No, I thought... I know what I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of the time when I was younger and I was
Right.
swinging.
That's what, when you were a swinger.
The swinger, yes.
You revealed that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right. That's what I'm referring to.
I remember the swinging. I don't remember the cheating.
Yeah.
Well, the cheating was a revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when we came here?
Yeah, the first show.
Wow.
Yeah, I swung over to cheating.
Do you have any children outside of the marriage named the engineer?
No, I can guarantee you I don't have any other children. That's a positive. I can guarantee you that.
It's one thing to find out Arnold Schwarzenegger's your illegitimate father. It's another to find out it's Scott the engineer.
Yeah, no, there's no other children.
The difference is most kids, when they find out that their father's a celebrity, they go and ask him for money. Scott would ask the kid for money.
Excuse me, son. I know I haven't been there for you, but do you have any extra money?
How about your lunch money? Got a paper route?
You're really going to put yourself through this again?
No, I'm not doing comedy.
But it's Q&A.
Obviously, I can't do comedy.
Yeah, but Q&A is the same thing. These people are shouting at you.
They'll yell at me. What's the big deal?
So when people go push-ups, what are you going to say? Hey!
Push-ups, yeah!
I'll do a push-up. I love Cleveland.
But, you know, some good things have happened to me. I worked for the best fucking radio show ever.
There you go.
Come on!
Come on.
The Howard Stern Show. I've slept with 2 women at the same time. How many fucking faggot guys can say that? Come on.
That was your swinging day.
Yes, we talked about. That's what you were talking about.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they both fell asleep on me.
I used to be a swinger. Wait, one more line. I used to be a swinger. What, am I dying out here?
You don't know?
I was wasted. Who knew?
I used to be a swinger.
Wait. Guys!
Artie's trying to help out.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous effort.
8 minutes later, Artie tried to save me.
Artie knows a winner when he sees it.
This is only 8 minutes? Oh, my God.
If I was in the ocean, I'd be dead.
Artie knew to let that thing go.
Thank you. That's right. But guys,
It's time for you to leave.
Yeah, really.
you got to look at the
The tribe has spoken.
big picture. As fucking awful as this is now, Monday morning when we're playing every second of it, it's going to be fantastic.
Isn't it amazing when Artie
4 years
speaks,
later.
when Artie speaks, everyone quiets
just
down.
listen.
They
Well,
listen.
they were saving up their laughs.
I don't know. I'm saying words too, and no one's listening.
Yeah!
Scott jumped right in. He hears cheering.
Yeah.
Is it really that bad? Oh, God. Come on, give me a break. This is my debut. Give me a break. So I work for the best radio show ever.
He ain't letting go. He's picking right up.
I used to be a swinger. Now I can't even fucking get it out. I used to be a swinger and swap partners. Now the only time I get fucked is when I'm in the studio with Howard. Fuck everyone! Thank you.
There you go. Crowd loves
Scott
it.
Salem, wait, Scott. How about a hand for Scott Salem? Come on.
I hate to say it. Charlie Sheen stole your act.
He did.
From what I'm reading, yeah.
He did. And he didn't do it well.
Winning.
Winner, Salem dinner.
Losing.
All right,
I don't think so.
Thank you.
All right. That'll be good.
Come on, fuck me in the ass.
That's my opening line.
Yeah.
Surely there's no way this question and answer won't go horribly awry.
Oh my God! My prediction: first 4 questions. What does other dudes' load taste like? One after the other. As soon as he pitched to me that he said, "I'm thinking of doing a Q&A," I immediately looked him right in the eyes and I said, "Go for it. That's a great idea." Because I remember this tape. I remember that audio, that show. And keep in mind, that was a set. He had people write jokes for him. That wasn't a Q&A. You never want to turn the show over to the audience as a comic because then you have no control. So it should be very, very interesting. I mean, I'm going to be laughing so hard during that set. I can't wait. I don't even want to perform that night.
Let him flail, sir.
Yeah, I mean, that's fuck. I mean, half the people who are buying tickets right now are buying it just to see this guy die on stage. So, will it go as horribly as it did in Cleveland? I hope so.
May I talk to you for a hot minute?
Hold on a second. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Scott.
Yes. Oh, hold on. Let me put makeup on. Hold on.
Oh
Is
my
that
God,
better?
it's so much better.
Oh my God.
Star power.
Thirsty. Hold on.
Man, you really are becoming a star.
Hair and makeup. Oh wait, no hair.
Unnecessary.
Okay, I'm ready.
Scott, given all of your past appearances and your little attempts at stand-up comedy
Yes.
and live appearances and whatnot, how do you envision this weekend going in Allentown?
Let's go bowling. I don't know. It's going to be fun. That's all I know. You know, it's going to be pretty wild. It's Ronnie's block party. Have you ever been to Ronnie's block party? If not, which most of you haven't been, I'm sure, we're going to show you what Ronnie's block party really is.
There's going to be some goofing on you. There's going to be some tape.
Who said this?
Why put yourself through it? I mean, they're still bringing up the Lexington Steel proposal from years ago.
Dude, they still talk about Baba Booey. It was 20 years ago. Nothing has ever dropped on this show. You know this. What am I going to do?
So why add more ammo?
I need the money. Yeah, times are tough right now. And so I'm going to go out. I'm going to have fun, too. It's not really the money. We're going to have a good time. And it's a few bucks to pay, to pay the gas bills, and we'll see where we're going.
Sir, I'm looking forward to the tape.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you'll get your dirty little hands on it right when it comes out of the camera, and you'll be editing and cutting and making us all look like assholes.
I sure will.
Thank you very much.
Godspeed, Mr. Engineer.
Kevin, morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, too.
First time to Howard Sirius studio, I think.
No, I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know. Well, you would know better than me.
I think you've been on the phone. I don't know if you've been actually in here.
Yeah,
live.
I think I was nearby, but maybe not actually in here. So,
what's going on with you? New X-Men movie and
yeah, which is super cool.
Nice. Now, even though it's early, do you look forward to being on Howard's show and talking to him? Do you guys get along?
Yeah, and it's been a lot of years.
Be nice to catch up.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you inside then.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
All right, let me get to Kevin Bacon now. He's been in our green room. He's a busy man. I think this guy's a genuinely good guy.
Why do you say that? Not that I don't think he is.
I'll tell you why I think Kevin's a good guy.
All right.
Hey, Kevin. I'll tell you my theory on you.
Okay.
My theory on you being a good guy, because, everybody's got a PR firm, and, if you're the biggest asshole, you can hide it. But you genuinely, I believe, are a good guy because you walk around Manhattan, and if you see a tourist having a hard time with his directions or finding things, you walk up to them like a tour guide and help them out.
That's true.
What are you talking about?
It's the truth. Am I right or am I wrong?
It's absolutely true, and it's a little embarrassing, but I do that. Yeah.
You will. They don't ask you You stop.
If they have their head in a guidebook, and they don't know where they're going, or they don't know what subway to take, I'll take them. In fact, one time,
and they know it's Kevin Bacon. I mean, they see.
Well, eventually, maybe they do.
Are you able to walk around Manhattan for some reason anonymously?
Well,
I mean, what do you wear, a disguise of some sort?
I walk around. I take the subway every day, but I have to say that it's not really anonymously. But people in Manhattan are so busy that they don't really. They'll say, "Hey, how you doing?" or they'll say, "Good to see you," or whatever. But
if you were a 6'5", really ugly guy like me, with big bushy hair, look like Big Bird, you'd be noticed.
I've seen you on the street.
I know. I listen. I'm
not going to say where.
Does he look like he needs help?
Believe me, he doesn't come over and help me. But people do yell at me. I don't seem to be able to walk around anonymously. But you're a genuinely nice guy. But now you say you take the subway every day.
I do. I mean, if I have someplace I have to go.
I read an article today that said the #1 crime on the subway is now people are stealing electronic devices.
And I was a victim.
And you were a victim. That's
Yes.
why I'm bringing this up. They say if you want to be smart, don't bring out your iPad, your phone.
You can't use it on the subway.
Because the #1 crime down there is the villains want this.
The electronics.
They want the electronic gear. They get a tremendous amount of money for it. What happened to you?
Well, first off, for all those tourists who might be listening to this, New York is a pretty safe place for the most part. I mean, this was a random kind of thing. Although the police did tell me later on that this happens a lot. So, I like to encourage tourism here because it's good for the economy, et cetera, et cetera.
When you say it's a pretty safe place, do you ever walk down the street and not see something weird going on?
Of course there's something weird going on.
Always. I got yelled at by a homeless guy the other day because I walked by. I mean, he literally just yelled at me just for walking by him.
You'd be surprised how many homeless guys recognize me, which begs the question.
How bad off could they be? They're seeing movies.
Yeah, they're going to films.
Yeah, it's kind of... Anyway, maybe it's just the early stuff. So I'm standing there, and at 53rd and 7th, the 7th Avenue station is like stacked up like there's the uptown train, the downtown train, the uptown train. It's like 4 levels down to get uptown.
Right.
Which is unusual. So I'm 4 flights down, and I'm not on the train. I'm on the platform.
Right.
And I'm sitting there playing Brick Breaker.
Right. On your what, BlackBerry?
I had a BlackBerry at that point.
Okay.
And it's in my hand, and then bam, it's gone.
You don't even see them coming.
I don't even see them coming.
Wow.
And now,
brazen,
like an asshole, I chase the guy. I don't recommend this.
This is not a movie.
It's not X-Men.
Exactly.
Right.
What the fuck am I thinking?
What were you thinking?
That's the problem with being an actor.
Well, you're a pretty good athlete.
You think I'm not a pretty good athlete.
You can run.
I can run, but I'm 52 years old.
Are you? You don't look it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I figured maybe you can handle yourself. Is it karate or anything?
No.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you going to do if you catch him?
Exactly. What am I going to do?
It's true. You're a pussy actor.
What am I going to do?
Plays a guitar.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
And I find myself saying things like, "Stop, thief."
Is that what you yelled at?
I'm running.
I'm impressed that you ran.
I'm running up the fucking stairs, and at the first level, I'm about 10 feet from the gate. At the second level, it's like 30 feet.
Right.
By the time I hit 7th Avenue, I am about to die.
You're so right. I can't even recall a movie where you beat someone up in the movie.
No. He did a whole movie.
What movie?
Remember that revenge movie you did?
Death Sentence.
Yeah.
I beat a lot of people
that's
up.
true. You did. Okay.
Yes.
All right. What were you going to do if you caught him? Would you challenge him to a dance? I mean, what would you do? What are you going to do? What were you thinking?
What was I thinking? Kids, don't try this at home. It was ridiculous.
So you never caught him?
I never caught him, no. I never
caught him.
You ran
off with your BlackBerry?
He ran off with my BlackBerry. Did you get any calls or no?
No. What do you do when someone? How do you? Sir, this is a very practical question. What do you do? Do you call someone who then discoconnects this thing?
I don't have any BlackBerry to call anybody on.
What do you do?
You can't call anybody.
The guys got all your information.
If you have a. Well, first off, it was locked.
Right.
Okay. Second off, if you have a. You can do that thing. I guess BlackBerries have. I know iPods have it. You can erase it remotely.
Oh, you can. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Do you? I was going to ask you about something with Footloose.
Okay.
Because the other thing I heard about you is you've been known to go to like weddings, bar mitzvahs, and you immediately are filled with dread because you know the DJ will begin playing Footloose so that you will get up and dance.
Inevitably, I'm sitting there, I'm having a pretty good time, and it's dong-de-dong-de-dong-de-dong-de-dong. And then it's like everybody,
supposed to do?
everybody looks at me, turns and goes, you know,
to start clapping, getting ready for you to get up and do the dance.
Like a trained monkey. I mean, really. It's,
you didn't go there to perform.
So I'll go up to the DJ and I'll, hand him a 20. I said, dude, just don't play the fucking record because I just.
Do you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
You say, here's $20. Don't. If you play Footloose, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, don't. Because here's the thing.
Have you actually ever gotten up and danced to the Footloose at a wedding? Did you ever do that?
Nah, I don't know. It's bad enough that when I dance at weddings, right? Because everybody wants to see
what you're up
if I can actually dance.
There's a lot of pressure,
which is questionable anyway. But the thing about
it is, you a good dancer?
I don't know. I like to dance, like go out to dance.
But when you trained for Footloose, which was your big break movie,
have you been to the movies in 30 years?
No, but when you trained for Footloose, when you auditioned, did you have to dance for them?
Yes, and I did not. Yes, I had a dance audition, and then I had to train, and I just kind of said, look, just turn the music on and I'll dance. It's going to be fine. But I didn't understand there was a whole choreographed thing.
Yeah, because, I mean, you sort of were known as a dancer. And the fact is, any movie you've done since, I don't think you danced once,
I haven't, no. But here's the thing. A wedding is not supposed to be about me.
Right.
It's supposed to be about the bride and the groom. You know this as well as anybody.
Yeah.
So you get invited to your friend's wedding, and then it's okay for about the first 2 hours. And after people start having some cocktails, all of a sudden it becomes about you, about watching you dance or taking pictures with you, and you feel like an asshole because it's like their special day.
Well, maybe you got to just say, I've tried this, but it doesn't work well. I've said to people, listen, it's about the bride and the groom, and I don't want to take away from their day. But then people think you're a dick.
They think you're an asshole. Yeah.
But why do we care what people think in that situation?
Well, they are being assholes.
Because
it's about the people who are getting married.
You would win Dancing with the Stars, wouldn't you?
No.
You wouldn't?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I think you would. I think you would
You'd
train.
have to, wouldn't you?
I mean, you would look like a fool if you did.
That's why I don't go on it. I'm never going on Dancing. They did another movie of Footloose.
Yeah.
Now, what happened with that?
Well, first
Who
off,
was in it?
this is what happened was...
How to be Will Smith's
I
kids.
woke up and they said they're doing Footloose, and I went, what the fuck?
That's a bad idea.
I'm old enough that a movie that I did is being remade. That is pathetic.
Didn't they ask you to be the father or something to take on one of the roles?
They had a role, and it was a good... By the way, I thought it was a really good script, and the director is a director that I really like. But the role was just not that great. I mean, like,
were you the dad?
I was a dad, yeah, and he was a schmuck. And
the dad was a schmuck in the movie.
No, there was no dad in the movie.
Yes, there was.
I don't think so.
Who was the
in Footloose?
Oh, that's right. There was the preacher.
Yeah.
But didn't he have a daughter?
That was the Laurie's
Yeah, but not my dad.
Not your dad.
Oh, that's what I mean. But you would have played
It was
the dad.
John Lithgow, right?
I was my dad. Like my dad.
You mean in the new movie, your dad shows up?
Yeah,
that's fucking ridiculous.
And he's an asshole. He's the complete asshole. And I was like, it's just weird. I mean, what? Like, isn't that going to be weird? Like, people going to wait. That's the dad, and he's an asshole. I don't know. It just seemed weird.
Have you, career-wise, are you at the point where you're more the villain now than the good guy?
I am an X-Men.
You're a villain.
Yeah. I'm so sorry that you haven't seen it yet.
I can't wait to see it.
You're going to love it.
I fucking love X-Men.
I want you to. I'm going to come back after you see it because it's just really. I saw it like only 3 days ago, and it was like they worked on it right up until the 0 hour with the effects and everything because it's coming out in 2 weeks and they just finished it.
I'm an X-Men fan. So
I know you are.
So it's a movie based on when the kid, like when everyone was young.
It's like it goes back to kind of the beginning of Magneto and Professor X and their relationship. And
I'm such a geek. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Did you read those comics growing up?
No, I didn't read them, but I love the movies. But
you were probably getting pussy. I was not.
Nah,
probably getting laid, you good-looking fuck.
No, it wasn't that. I just I just didn't like to read.
You are a good-looking guy, but going back to the beginning of your career. Going back to the beginning of your career, you almost didn't get your big break because the studio said you weren't hot enough. I'm talking about, of course, in Footloose.
The quote was literally, "He's not fuckable."
Right. I always said that about you, particularly to my wife.
Even with the,
I go, that Kevin, he's not fuckable. No.
Unless he gets an ass-washing toilet.
But lo and behold, you were fuckable, weren't you?
As it turned out.
Did you get laid a lot in high school?
No.
You were not the popular guy?
No, but I didn't go to college, and when I moved to New York, that's when it sort of started to change.
Was your family irate that you didn't go to college?
Not at all.
They didn't care.
They didn't care. I mean,
but where
I'm
did
the
you
youngest
grow
of
up?
6. I'm the youngest of 6, Philly.
Philly.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 6, and you know, my parents. When I left home, I'm not sure they noticed.
Right.
Honestly, they were busy.
Tired.
They were busy. They were tired.
You went to high school and then you left home.
I went to high school and left home. Yeah.
But because you were confident you'd be a big actor?
I just knew that's what I wanted to do. I wasn't confident I would be big, but I mean, I just said, okay, I'm going to be an actor. That's it. I'm packing my bag.
Was it a very working class family?
No.
Wealthy
not
family?
not a wealthy family, middle class family.
But a middle class family.
What did your dad do?
My father was extremely famous, not wealthy, but very, very famous. He was a city planner in Philadelphia, and he was like in Philly, he was like really well known. Like when I would go back, you know, when in his last days, and you know, we'd be walking around in the streets of Philadelphia, and people would go, "Mr. Bacon, Mr. Bacon," and I would turn around thinking they were talking to me, and they'd be like, "Ed, we love you," you know. So he was a big man.
But that sounds like a guy who would have said to his son, "Listen, use your fucking brain, go to college, and don't end up like a loser actor."
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, it's a ridiculous career to go into.
It really is.
It is. I mean, it's against all odds.
It's against all odds. But you know what? They just
they were supportive.
They were supportive, and you know, I mean, I was really lucky. I was really lucky in that.
And you took off at 18 to go to Hollywood by yourself?
No, New York.
New York first.
New York. I've never lived in Hollywood. I've never. No. Mm-mm.
And so, but when you get cast in something like Footloose, that goes down in Hollywood, right?
That was in Utah.
Really?
Yeah.
The audition was in Utah?
No, the audition was in New York.
Oh, and then they went and shot in Utah.
Yeah, we shot it in Utah, yeah.
And how long between the time you went from your home to New York did you land Footloose?
Oh, quite some time, because I was 17 when I got here. Footloose I did when I was like 23. So my first movie was Animal House.
Oh, right.
I was like 19 when I got that.
Was
and
that
I was a waiter.
intimidating?
You know, I was a waiter for the first like 3 years, and then I got Animal House.
When you get Animal House, were you totally intimidated by guys like Belushi and I'm thinking Chevy Chase was in that? And,
no, he wasn't in
no,
that.
who the hell was in that movie? It was like
a lot of cool people.
It was like incredible. Were you intimidated?
Here's the thing. You know, I don't know if you remember, but there was the cool fraternity, and then there was like the asshole fraternity, of which I was in the asshole fraternity.
The fuck ups.
The lines were drawn so heavily in the sand between the two fraternities, which is something that was kind of created by like John Landis, who directed it, and the producers and stuff.
Ivan Reitman, yeah.
They didn't want us to hang out, and
really,
and the guys in the Animal House really, really didn't want. That, like, they would have parties in the hotel, literally like down the hall.
No kidding.
And I'd hear the party going on, and I'm sitting in my room like an asshole. I mean, you know, can't get invited.
You
to the
were
party.
only allowed to hang out with your fraternity.
Yes.
They took it that seriously, like a whole method acting kind of like.
I think it kind of started that way, but then it just kind of became obvious that I was kind of the loser.
But since you were in the loser fraternity, you got to hang out with the coolest guys like Belushi, right?
Well, no, the thing about Belushi was that he was actually doing SNL at the time while we were shooting, so he was flying back and forth. So actually, he didn't really hang out that much because he was so. Having to get back to do the show, he'd come back on Wednesday and go Saturday and come back out. It was crazy.
Oh, so you were in the cool fraternity?
No, Kevin was in the guy like Niedermeyer and all those guys, like the ROTC.
Oh, those guys.
Those guys, yeah.
Oh, I
the
thought
assholes.
you were. I
so
was
you
thinking,
weren't even in the.
I was looking at it the other way.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were calling the Belushi house the asshole house because they were the losers.
No, they were so much cooler than us.
Yeah, right. So you hung out.
They were having fun. They had.
Oh, you totally hung out with the wrong fraternity.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't have
awful.
a choice. That was the deal.
I like that they separated them out in real life.
It was.
When you were shooting that movie, did you think it would be legendary? I mean, it's iconic.
No, of course not.
It probably seemed like a piece of shit, right? I mean, it was kind of goofy. The script.
I was happy to have a gig. Honestly, I mean, I was like, wow, this is kind of amazing.
Were you ready to pack it in? I mean, that sounds like a long time to be waiting around for a role.
There was other stuff.
19.
I was doing soaps.
No, he was 20. Wait a second.
No, he
was
23.
19. You were 19 to get that role.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but still.
Footloose wasn't until I was 23.
Oh, that's right. You had soap operas too.
Soap operas. I did Friday the 13th, the first Friday the 13th. I did Diner.
Diner was a big one.
I did some other stuff.
But after Animal House and its huge success, you went back to being a waiter.
Yes, I did.
And does that
true.
blow your mind? Like, are you like, wait a second, I was just in Animal House, the surprise hit of all time,
this is a true story. I had to ask for the night off from the restaurant where I was working to go to the premiere.
Wow.
So I get to the fucking premiere. It's right.
I would have fired your ass if I owned that restaurant. I said, listen, son, you got work to do.
Get serious about this
my boss
waiter
was
job.
my boss was very understanding,
Right.
and I was working at a place called the Allstate on 72nd Street between
The Allstate?
The Allstate Cafe. It was a great bar.
Has it closed down?
It's closed down, unfortunately, yeah. But this is a place that I've kind of worked and hung out at, and it was like a great bar.
Right.
Anyway, I get the night off. I don't bring a date because I'm thinking I am going to pull. There's no doubt. I'm in the movie.
Right.
Exactly.
Don't
right.
don't bring
a date.
You
Right.
you kidding?
Why bring sand to the beach?
Exactly.
Right. Could be every hot chick in the world there, and you're in the movie.
So I get to the screening, and here's the red carpet, and I'm on the other side of the fucking red rope, and here's all the rest of the guys, the cool guys, right? And they've got fucking limousines, and they're pulling up, and the flash bulbs are going off, and I have the ticket that doesn't even get me into like the good seats. Because I was the only one that lived in New York. I think everybody else had been flown in from L.A.
You get no respect.
I'm standing there, like on the other side of the red rope, and somebody recognizes me and takes pity on me.
Right.
And says, "Oh, come on, you can come in here." I get
You're
there.
The movie.
I get there, and the usher stops me and says, "These are not for you."
Yeah, get the fuck
This
out
is
of
for
here.
the cast.
This is for the cool cast.
This is for the cast,
Yeah,
right? Exactly. I come out, same deal. They have limousines lined up. Someone takes pity on me, finds room for me in the back of their limousine. I get to the party. I could not get recognized to save my life. My hair had grown and whatever. And I remember literally talking to these girls and going, I was in that movie. And they're like, yeah, looking around like, yeah.
Who are you?
Who cares? And I ended up back at the bar.
You were like Cinderella. I mean, you went to the party and nothing happened. I mean, you came home and you were right back at the restaurant.
Back at the restaurant, hanging with my friends, and
Were you ever in the time that you went back to being a waiter? Did anyone ever walk up to the table and say, "Aren't you the guy from Animal House?"
It's embarrassing. How would you like that cooked?
Yeah. Can I help you with anything else, sir? Well, we had Brian Johnson from
it's me.
You know why that's funny? Because we had Brian Johnson in here from AC/DC, and he was in a band called the Geordies before AC/DC, and they had 3 hits, and they were pretty well known, but he was making no money, so he had to start working by installing windshields. And he'd wear a big hat because he didn't want anyone to recognize him. Because people go, "Hey, aren't you the guy from the Geordies?"
And he's putting in a windshield.
It's fucking humiliating, right?
Yeah, it was a little humiliating. But, it's just, I think it was a great lesson because I sort of, I was full of myself, and I thought I was a movie star,
right.
And I wasn't. I had a small part in a movie. The money had been gone. Money was gone in 2 weeks.
Right. It's crappy money, right? It's not great money.
It was $700 a week.
Yeah. But at the time, you were probably like, "Oh my God, this is fantastic."
It was fantastic. And the other thing was, it was the first time that I was ever flown first class, and I could not believe that they gave you drinks for free. I was like, "Holy shit!"
I'm gonna get my money's worth.
I get on the plane, and they fly me out at the last minute. All of a sudden, they say, "You got to shoot on tomorrow. I'm like, my laundry is at the laundromat. I can't go yet." They said, "You don't understand. You got to get in the car now. You got to get to the airport. You got to fly to San Francisco. You're going to shoot in Oregon. You spend the night in San Francisco." So I get on this plane, and I start drinking, and so I'm going to try to pick up the flight attendant.
Yeah, after all, you're in the movies.
So
right.
I pull out the script.
That's it. Right.
Of course, it doesn't work at all.
She didn't even notice you were reading a script.
Well, I was like, script. Script.
Look. And she.
Why are you talking to yourself, sir? Oh, no, I'm just running lines. Nothing. It's nothing. Sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you. Just running some of my lines.
Can you help me with my lines? You should have been like DSK and just told her she had a nice ass. That's what you do.
She goes. And then I think that something cool. What would be cool and sort of like international man of mystery would be to order amaretto after dinner. Have you ever tasted amaretto?
Yeah.
I mean, it's dreadful.
Right.
And
it's like turpentine.
Oh,
right.
So I start drinking amaretto. Oh my God! And then I'm trying to get her to come, to the I had a hotel room just for the night. That didn't work out.
Right.
But she did give me the rest of the bottle of amaretto. Sort of like
a parting gift.
As a parting gift.
Here, loser.
I was like, first class. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Do you get close to people in movies to the point that you become their friends, or is it just like work? And then like Laurie Singer was in Footloose with you. I'll go back all those years. I don't know why I'm focused on Footloose, but I am for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Laurie Singer, who I run into all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I see her, but.
We run into each other once in a while, but no, we're not close. But here's the thing:
did you guys fuck on the movie?
No.
For real? It just seems like you would have. You know what I mean?
Don't beat around the bush.
But why wouldn't you? Here you are, two young people, particularly attractive people, and she's gorgeous. I think she's gorgeous. Why wouldn't you guys have an on-set romance?
It just didn't happen.
Isn't that weird to you?
That I didn't fuck Laurie Singer?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think that's strange?
No.
Did you get somebody else in the cast?
No, I think I had a girlfriend at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Big mistake not fucking Laurie Singer on this?
Maybe.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, where's that girlfriend now?
Right.
So you do so many movies, and you do get close with people. You have to get close to people like really fast. Like you're kind of thrown together, and someone says, okay, this is Eddie. He's your brother, and you just met the guy. Sometimes you have friendships that last, and sometimes you don't, but you can't beat yourself up about it. For a while, when I first started, I kind of felt like, God, what kind of person am I that I think someone is like my best friend, and then 2 weeks later we're not calling each other. I'm so shallow,
Right.
But you can't, and also the other thing is that sometimes things come around full circle, and you work with people again.
Right. So you try to keep a good attitude. It just seems to me that you would that two good-looking people who have a lead in the movie, it's a tremendous aphrodisiac. That I don't know. It just seems to me that sexual chemistry is almost just going to happen. It's romantic. They're treating you well. You're in a movie with them. They're attractive people. I don't know how the hell you avoid it. In fact, I don't even know how your marriage has lasted this long because. Kira now goes away for 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, but
she's got a very attractive co-star.
Yeah, but I've always had a theory that you guys swing. I really have. I really think that Kevin's had sex. Yeah, I think Kira does too.
Let's,
I know that's crazy.
Just propose that theory to her and see how it flies, would you?
There's no swing. She is so sexual.
She is sexual.
Remember that party you invited to me years ago?
Yeah.
Even when she sits down in a chair, she does a move.
Mm-hmm.
I watched her the whole night very closely.
I
ignored you, but
I noticed you were ignoring me. I was wondering about.
No, your wife has a very sexy way about her.
She is sexy.
It's incredible, really.
Well, she kind of, has said before publicly that being in movies with other guys and then being able to just kind of kiss somebody and is kind of great because it's sort of legal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Legal cheating.
Yeah, it's sort of like you're not really swinging, but you're sort of like having a little,
But you're living a life like a single man 6 months out of the year, right?
Well, my kids are grown now,
right.
So I go out there. I'm going to the airport right now, so
so you're gonna go? You go out and you
stay
with her?
Yeah, I stay with her. We rent houses. I'm not gonna just not be with her, And I'm always going here and going there,
Yeah, no, she's a very sexy woman. You should keep your eye on her.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
There's no love child we're going to hear about from you.
I don't think so.
Because you're away so much.
What's the name of that movie you did where? And then I know you got to get out of here, but I want to ask you about X-Men because I am curious about it. But what's the name of that movie you did where you're the soldier and you're bringing back a dead body?
Taking Chance. In fact, it's going to be on Memorial Day night, Monday night. HBO is going to air it again. And at the credit roll, I think they're going to put up the names of every fallen serviceman and all of the various conflicts that we've been in, in the recent conflicts, which I think is going to be kind of a powerful thing because it's going to take a long time to read that list.
So this is a movie about you taking a guy's body home.
Mm-hmm.
Guy died in a war.
Right.
And you've got to fly his body home.
It's a true story about it's called escort duty. Is what this
that interests me for some reason.
You should see it. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's really.
I'm
going to
watch it.
It's really good. I'm not just saying that because I'm in it. It's of everything I've done, the reactions that I get from people is so different.
Mm-hmm.
People grab me and say,
right.
Thanks for doing this, and it's because a lot of people obviously are affected by the wars.
So with X-Men, Let me get to that because that's what that's
So
why
you
woke up.
play a villain?
Yes, I am a ascot-wearing billionaire who is hell-bent and determined to eradicate the humans so that we can have a utopian mutant society.
Ah.
Hey, here's a good question for you. I got to ask you about this. You backed John Edwards. You were a big backer of John.
Oh, God.
What does that have to do with X-Men?
Do that?
But because I got a million questions for you, and I know I'm going to run out of time.
I think we're out of time right now, aren't we?
How did were you just friggin' heartbroken when all this shit went down with him?
I felt a sense of, well, I mean, it would be to say I felt a sense of betrayal would be a little bit like saying, wow, we were so close, which we weren't.
Right.
But I would say political, betrayal, like anything else. If you back a candidate or you believe in somebody.
This guy asked you for your support.
Yeah.
You know what's weird about it? Because you want to believe, even in our jaded, we've lived long enough to be jaded. But I know I'm like this. I was like a big Bobby Kennedy fan. When I was a kid, I looked up to Bob. I want to still believe that my political figures really do care about the country and they're really good guys.
Right.
And so it does take a lot, I would imagine, to earn your trust. I don't think you easily go to a John Edwards and give an endorsement.
No, it was a process of seeing him, meeting him, hearing what he had to say.
Right, because of your celebrity. You get to meet with him, and you know that people will listen to you because you're famous. So what was it? He flew you in and said, listen, I want you to be one of my guys?
Yeah, in Iowa, in Iowa, I kind of went, on the road with them for a little while. And
how does that end up happening?
I can't even remember. I mean, I guess I saw him speak somewhere at the Time Warner Center or something like that, and then
you were turned on by what he had to say.
I was turned on by what he had to say. I mean, one of his big focuses was poverty and the environment. I thought he had his experience in the past seemed to be right at the time, and talk about this is really early.
And you probably don't get involved in a lot of political campaigns.
I don't. And the thing about it is you kind of are on the fence about it because on one hand, why should anybody listen to me?
Right.
A, B. A lot of times people get turned off by having actors too involved that they go, you know what, fuck that. I mean, that's not you don't get my vote just because I go to your movies. I get it. On the other hand, I felt like the country was going going in a bad direction, and I sort of said, well, why shouldn't I? I'm a citizen,
Maybe I can help.
Maybe I can help. I have the right to come out if I anyway.
Right. So in other words,
the rest is history.
But it was a heavy decision to make because you're right. You as an actor want to fade into the background. You don't want to be known as a political guy or anything because it can affect the role. The role is the most important thing. You almost like to be positionless, so to speak.
You do want to a certain extent, just let your work speak for itself.
So after you've done all this work for John Edwards and all this shit goes down, and were you suspicious at all early? Did he ever ask you to borrow rubber? He never did that?
No.
Did he ever say to you, hey, check out this chick's ass?
No.
Nothing like that. He was very presidential around you.
Did you meet Elizabeth? Did you? Oh, wow.
You did, yeah.
So they presented the whole family picture to you.
Yeah. Sounds like you were really spending time with this guy.
It was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I see. And so when all the shit goes down, do you write him a note and say, hey, you betrayed me? Or what do you do?
No, I just started supporting Barack Obama.
Did he ever ask you to swing with Kira? Wouldn't that be great?
He was a good-looking guy, right?
Yeah. Oh, Kevin has to go. And by the way,
I'm going to miss my flight.
All right, I'm not going to let you. I'm going to bring this up because I was just worried about you. I never called you about this Bernie Madoff stuff. I don't know how affected you were by it. I don't know.
Lost a lot of money.
You did lose a lot of money. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's fine.
I was going to call you, and then I said, well, I don't think you want to hear from me about this.
It's fine.
Should I have called you?
No, definitely not.
But you're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to go out and wait tables.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
He's back at wait. Where's the Atlas?
Does any restaurant want a really cool?
When X-Men opens, I'll be waiting tables.
That'd be so sad.
Yeah.
No, I was upset.
No. Here's the thing. Okay, so you have a moment where you go, "Holy shit, that was many, many years of work just went away in a poof of smoke." And then you go, "But hang on." We're okay. We're looking at each other. We got a nice apartment. Our kids are healthy. There's other people that had a lot worse off. We can both work.
It wasn't everything.
No, not everything.
Was it 70%?
No, it wasn't our. We didn't lose our apartment,
But everything else you lost.
No, not everything else. Percentage. I don't know the percentage. It's. You know what? It's fine. It's fine.
I would be so angry. I don't know how I would reconcile.
Her show is doing great. You know, she's on her last year. I mean, you know, actually, thank God for that show.
Right.
I mean, thank God without that, it was just me trying to pull us back. It would have been tough.
No, because it's a lot of pressure when you got a career and you've done so remarkably well, and so is Kira. And you're nice. You're genuinely nice people, and it angers me. I want to rip this motherfucker apart. I really would. I would love to kill him.
You know, De Niro is maybe going to do an HBO movie, I think, where he's going to play Bernie. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Would it happen if I make a cameo as myself? There could be like a scene where we get the call, you know.
No, you should play Bernie's father. Maybe teach him the right thing. But as long as I know you're okay.
We're fine. We're fine. It's cool.
And you don't have to worry about your old age and kind of thing.
Nah.
And you didn't know this guy, Bernie. I take it that you had an investment guy who invested in Bernie's thing.
Right.
Right, okay.
Did you even know when this whole thing blew up that it affected you, or did you have to hear?
Oh, no, I knew that.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not that hands-off.
Okay.
No,
right.
I knew. That was clear.
Oh.
So between John Edwards and Bernie Madoff.
My boys.
Have you lost
That's my boys.
I bet you're writing some good music about that.
Those are my boys. I haven't written that one yet.
I'm
really good on that.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
Don't worry about it. It's all right. You know,
it's
honestly,
bad.
you know, there's a lot worse. Here's the thing: if you really, you got there once, you can get there again. You know, that's how I feel. You know,
but do you feel like you have the energy to get there again?
Hell yeah,
you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd like to lay back and kick back.
Like acting is a bad job.
I don't. No. I don't.
Kevin
There's no part of me that wants to lay back and kick back. I don't even believe you don't want to do that. I don't believe that.
Oh, yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
I don't believe that for a second. I think most people, the idea of retirement, ultimately, I mean, what are you going to do? Make birdhouses? I mean, really, it's you don't. How long can you be on a beach? I'm looking forward to working. I mean, I want to keep working.
Yeah, but I just feel like there is a certain amount of kickback and takes the pressure off of you. You know, everybody gets older and wants to just sort of like pick and choose and be very picky about what roles they take. They don't want to be sitting there going, "Shit, I got to go build up a nest egg." You know, I mean,
right?
It sucks. No, it just fucking plain sucks. And
the sheriff's here.
The sheriff's here. Now listen, you can see Kevin Bacon in X-Men First Class. Now what he's doing here is he is doing what I fantasize about doing, being in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
These are the only movies to be in.
Superpowers.
Are you pro superhero movie? Do you think there's just too many of them out there?
Like anything else, if it's a good movie, of course I'm pro superhero movie. You know that, but this one is truly great. I can honestly say that I'm not. That's why I'm here. I wouldn't be yanking your chain about
Did you see the other X-Men movie?
Of course.
And those can go horribly wrong. They sometimes make a good first one, a good second one, and then to keep the franchise going, for some reason, they have difficulty doing that. You say they've accomplished it.
Yes, absolutely. It's incredibly clever the way it's done. It's set during the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's all like in the 60s. There's some new characters, mine and a couple others. Professor X has hair. It's super cool.
I love it. How many? It's a major part.
Yeah, it's a big part. I'm the main bad guy.
It's fucking great. All right, he's going. Oh
right.
my God, you're getting a lot of pressure, huh?
I am.
Yeah.
Shit.
My flight's at in half an hour, so I should probably go.
Yeah. Who knows what Kira's up to? You better get out there.
I better get out there.
Kevin, good to be back, man.
Man, it was great. Yeah, loved it. Yeah,
what separates the Howard Stern interview from the rest of them?
Howard.
What about his line of questioning and everything?
You never know where it's going to go, but it's.
Are you still here?
Yes, I never leave.
It's been months. Did I let you out to feed you?
Never. I'm a caged animal. How are you?
I'm doing good, me son. Tad's ragged.
Right this way.
You working at the work home?
Bloody hell. Cupcake Wednesday. Help yourself.
I see those fucking things.
Yeah.
And here?
Right this way.
Fantastic. Well, it's another room.
Yeah, we're just going from one room to another.
We're just shifting.
Okay.
So, Rockers and Rollers, your new autobiography's out.
Yes, it is, me son. Well, it's not an autobiography at all.
More of a memoir?
No, well, it's just stories about, me, old pals, all about motor cars, and tour buses, airplanes, trains, whatever it takes to get a band to the gig. And just wrote them down.
Lots of cool stories.
Lots of cool stories, nice and short. You don't have to concentrate for too long. I think some of the chapters are half a page long.
That's my kind of book.
That's it is, me son. Fabulous for the toilet.
Brian's book, Rockers and Rollers, and Automotive Autobiography is in stores now. Brian's whole thing is cars. Hey, brother.
Cars?
What do you say, man? Look at you, man.
Yo, fruit. What the fuck is going on?
What the hell is going on here with you?
Hello, boys. I'm back.
Back in black.
Ooh, sorry.
That's all right. What do you got there? Coffee?
A coffee, me son. How are you, me old son?
man.
You're looking good, kid. Fit and healthy.
Looking good. Sure. Right
Good
on.
lad.
You too.
Hooah!
Yeah, look at you. You've been working out.
I think I put me back out there, Robin.
Are you in your? You're in your 60s now, right?
63, me son. 64 in October.
You look great.
Yep,
What are
it's
you
all
doing?
still there. Just checking the rings on me, Willie.
Checking your bits and pieces.
And who's these two ne'er-do-wells?
Fred and Benji.
Fred and Benji. All right there, lads.
You know, when you say your book is called a Rockers and Rollers and Automotive Autobiography, cars were really your thing your whole life. And you even say that when you were writing the book, you couldn't remember a lot of things.
No,
and I have the same feeling. I don't remember a lot of stuff. Gary remembers better than I do.
Yeah.
And Robin remembers certainly better than I do. But
what are you writing about if you don't remember it?
well, you know what spurs his memory? Cars. He's so into cars that when they
That's
say to
right.
him, you remember when you had this car, and he'd go, oh, yeah, and then I was fucking this girl, and we were out on tour.
You can
and,
name the girl based on the car.
What somebody said was, like, well, once it happened was, he said, Brian, remember the time in 1976 we went out to a party and we had a grand time? And I went, no. And he said, you went out with that chick called Pauline. No. Yeah, we went to a party. We all got trashed. You had a big fight. Somebody broke your arm. And then you crashed your car. And the police had to come in a helicopter, remember? And they took you to hospital in a helicopter. No, I still can't remember. No, remember, you fell out the helicopter into the lion's pen at the zoo. I can't remember that. You had the Mini. Ah, that Pauline.
yeah. So
it's that kind of crazy thing.
And I think cars are a big part of your life because what people don't understand, when Bon Scott was alive, he was with AC/DC. Yep. You were a guy in a band called the Geordies.
Geordies.
Was that how you said it?
Geordie, yeah.
You know, it was an obscure kind of band, right? They weren't doing all that well. And you had even said you were almost at the point where you had no money. You were living with your parents. You were in your 20s.
That's right, 30s.
At your 30s.
You're living at home.
Yeah, you were living with your parents.
Fucking loser.
Yeah. You were living with your parents, and you'd even said, you know what, if the Geordies, I'm going to give it another couple of weeks, but if it doesn't work out,
that's right.
I'm going to open an automotive business.
Which I did.
You did? A repair business?
Well, it wasn't so much. It was a tarting up business. You know, put vinyl roofs on, new windshields in, go faster stripes along the side.
So he was customizing.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, you're a happy-go-lucky guy, but the thing is, when you're a guy in your 30s and you're living with your parents, it's a humiliation, isn't it?
Well, it was bad. You know, it was just a case I was in a marriage that didn't work. And I think I'd rather be at home than getting chased around with an axe by some mad red-headed.
Didn't you think like, oh man? Did your parents like say to you, like, were you the loser in the neighborhood, a guy in his 30s? I mean,
no, there was plenty of. I think
everybody was doing
you made a mistake.
But you must have been a terrible disappointment to your parents at that point. They were like, oh, our son with the singing, and he's not going anywhere. And
my father said, you know, I told you that singing stuff would never work, son.
Yeah, and you're such a kind of macho guy that even singing is sort of, you know, girly to a guy like your dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's probably like he's probably like, your girly profession isn't working out. I can imagine it was humiliating.
Well, it wasn't that bad, but that's when I started wearing a hat, so nobody would know who I was from the Geordie days.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'd been on television and we had 3 top 10 hits, and then
the Geordies had
top 10.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, but we got no money. We got ripped off like every other 70s band, you know.
Right.
And so I had to make some money to pay the mortgage for the kids and stuff. So I really, I went out to fix broken windshields on the highway. I figured nobody would see, and I wouldn't have to face anyone. Mm-hmm. So I started wearing a hat and shoved it tight across my head, so
you're
nobody
right.
would recognize.
When you're a fame, you know, you had fame. You had 3 hit songs.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing to go fix a guy's windshield when you're, you know, like you're like, and then the guy goes, "Hey, isn't that the guy from the Geordies?"
Yeah, but you got to do what you got to do to feed the kids. You know, it's just one of them things. You just do the right thing and bite the bullet.
Like even though you were wearing the hat, did some people go, "Hey, there's the guy from the Geordies"?
Yeah, it didn't work that good.
And so it was kind of a freaky thing. Now, I don't know the full story, but how do you go from the Geordies to AC/DC? Bon Scott dies. How long before? Were you their first choice? Did they right away go, hey, wait a second, you know who might work out? The guy from the Geordies.
I think that's what they were looking for me, but I'd fallen off the radar. You know, I was just up in Newcastle. I didn't want to, after being ripped off from the music business the first time, I just said, you know, this is bad business. This.
You mean you saw no money from the Geordies?
No, but what I did, I had a little band playing in the clubs and pubs, and we were very popular.
Right.
So I could get me stuff out that way. I felt good, you know. It was fun, you know, playing to the crowds again. They knew who I was. So, but we were very popular, you know, and we made a good living.
Right.
You know, a good living, but
it wasn't rock star money.
No, it wasn't rock star.
So how do you? So who knew to call you from AC/DC when old Bon went?
It was, first of all, there was a fan from Cleveland, to my eternal debt, I thank, Mutt Langer, who kept saying, listen, you got
Mutt Lang?
Mutt Lang, he said, you got to try this guy. And Bon Scott himself unwittingly told the boys, he said, of all the rock singers I've seen in England, there's this kid called Brian Johnson who played with when he was in the other band. Oh, shit, I forgot the name now.
Yeah.
And we played together, and we got on well, me and Bon. We just had a pint and we went our separate ways, and I never saw him again.
But that's very generous of him to go around.
It was very nice of him. And,
some lead singers would be possessive and not mention the good news singer.
But I think he had a gig, you know.
Right. He was secure.
Sick.
Yeah.
But he just, you know, it was a very nice thing to say. So they put the three together and said, we've got to find this guy. So that's one of the chapters in the book when I got the telephone call in my office, and this woman said, it's Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
And I went, who's this? And she went, this I cannot say because I'm phoning for you must to come to sing in London.
It was a German woman, I think.
Yeah. And I said,
it's top secret.
I said, well, for which band? She says, I cannot tell you this. I said, but, well, I'm not coming down to London if you cannot tell.
She called you for the audition and says, I cannot tell you who is the band or nothing.
I said, well, you got to give us a clue. She went, okay, the initials are AC on CTC. And I said, so it's AC/DC. She went, I have said too much.
Who was she, Ava Braun?
Well, no, we called her Olga from the Volga. No, that's in Russia. But
the guy who recommended you from Cleveland, the fan who you say you were eternally indebted, do you even know his name? Or no?
No, I didn't know.
You'd heard from the band that some guy in Cleveland mentioned your name.
They told me, and I mean, it was just wonderful how these three things got together. You know how
it's a miracle.
It never happens. And it did happen, and it worked out great. But you know,
but you auditioned in front of the other guys, right?
Yeah. Well, I still wasn't going to go down. I was still worried about this music. I said, you know, listen, I'm 32. I'm past my sell-by date for rock bands. I'm an old fart.
Right.
So went, this is the man we're after.
I like this woman.
She was. I never did see her.
But you went because it was AC/DC, and you knew that was a good paying.
Well,
gig.
It was a good thing, but you got to remember the boys were like a cult following. You know, they had a cult following.
That's true.
They played college TV, and you know, and everybody loved them. But you know,
they weren't as big because they blew up after your album Back in Black.
Yeah, but everybody loved them, and they were just breaking in America and everywhere. And just after that call, 30 minutes later, I got a call from a guy. And he says, Brian, you remember me? And I said, sure. He said, well, I'm doing jingles now. Would you sing on a Hoover advert? And I said, how much? And he said, 350 quid. He said, with residuals. And I said, I've got some ointment for that residual. He said, no, that's more money. I said, brilliant. I said, I'll come down. And I went down and I phoned up the boys. I said, I'll come down and do it on the same day. So I went in and did this. The new high-powered hoop mover from Hoover. It's a beautiful mover. There's £350.
Is that right? You mean the Dark Devil from AC/DC was singing the commercials?
I was.
Isn't that great?
And then from there, I remember coming out the studio and just saying, gosh, it's getting late. I have to get back to Newcastle, which is a 5-6 hour drive in there. Yeah. Or do I walk across that street? to Vanilla Studios.
That's right. Well, on the one hand, you had to get back to your parents' basement. On the one hand, you had to get back to your parents' basement. On the other hand, you had AC/DC waiting to audition you.
But you know what? Question?
You know what? You're right, though. I remember back then, because I was a disc jockey. I remember the original AC/DC albums. They'd come into the radio station. No one was really that excited about it. Yes, they did have a cult following. Everyone knew who they were, but they weren't the band they became.
Yeah.
So I understand. You were just like, you know what? So I'm going to go be with these guys now and start over and not make any money and play some college gigs. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, basically that runs through your head, you know. And then, but I made a fateful decision that evening. I just said, bollocks, I'm going to walk across the street. And I did.
Thank goodness.
And I opened the door, and there was 4 guys sitting on chairs with the big Marshall amps behind them, looking quite miserable because they've been waiting for us, you know. And I came and I said, guys, and they said, are you Brian from Newcastle? I said, I am. They went. And I'll never forget Malcolm, God bless his cotton socks, came over and he gave us a bottle of Newcastle brown ale. He said, there you go, me son. I know you like that. I said, mate, I could kill this. And I drank it. We sang and played.
So you drank, you got a little loaded, and then you started to play with those guys.
One bottle of brown ale loaded? Oh, you must be kidding.
When you audition, and as lighthearted as you are about it now, when you to sit there and drink, that could affect your voice. No, I mean, don't you get nervous about that kind of thing? No, you don't. That's rock and roll.
Yeah,
you don't care.
No,
you're not neurotic like me.
No.
And so I'm like, I'm at an audition. I can't drink. So you start to drink with the boys. You bond with the boys, and do they start playing AC/DC songs?
We did do. He said, what do you want to do? And I said, well, do you know Nutbush City Limits? And they said, what? I said, I like that song.
Nutbush City Limits?
Yeah. And Mal says, I think I can do that, mate. I'll just give it a little shotty there, you know. And I played a few chords, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started rocking it. I started singing. I got goosebumps. I started going wide, and everybody suddenly started thinking, whoa, what's
maybe
happening
we got
here?
something here.
What's happening here?
Before you did the audition, were you familiar with all the AC/DC songs?
No, we did. I know in my little band we did a whole lot of Rosie.
Right.
And but that was the only one that we knew.
And so did they hire you on the spot? They said, or did they play the game with you? Oh, why don't you go home? We'll think about it. And or did they say, look, this is it?
No, it was what happened was I said, thanks very much, lads, for the sing. I said, wait till I get back to my band. They're not going to believe I sang with you guys. But thanks very much. And they went, where you going? I said, I got to get home, man. I got to open the shop up in the morning.
That's right.
They got, you can't leave.
Right.
I said, why not? I said, I've really got to go. And they said, so the manager chased us out. I was going, bye-bye, lads. Thank you. And they were going, the fuck? And
when you join a band like that, an existing band, does a contract have to be drawn up that you get a certain percentage?
Well, no, what happened was they were dead straight with us. They just said, listen, Brian, we're going to put you on a wage for the first 6 months. And if it
What's
works
a wedge?
A wage.
Oh, a wage. Okay. Oh, in other words, you're a paid employee for 6 months.
They were paying him a salary.
You were getting a salary.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
what's happening to the English language? It's getting butchered over here.
Sometimes I have trouble understanding, but you know me. I'm just silly. You know what? Are you saying hi to the boys? Those are my lads.
Be the crew, lad.
So I'm still waiting for them to write AC/DC type songs. So when that happens and they say they're going to put you on a wage, are you insulted by that?
Absolutely not. No, I mean it was the right thing to do. You know, it was a traumatic time. People weren't thinking right. No, we're thinking right. No,
how long had Bon Scott been gone when they were finally able to?
About 3 months.
3 months.
About 3 months, yes. Right. And
they're like a guy who his wife dies. He only waits a few weeks to date. I mean, they were ready to get right back in.
They were ready to get back on the road.
Well,
they needed a band.
They were young. They needed, it's their life. You know, you can't just stop. And
how many times can you name in rock and roll history? We were just talking about like Freddie Mercury died in Queen. They couldn't replace him.
No.
How many bands actually pull that off where they replace one guy with another, and the band goes on to be even more successful? I think maybe 2 times, 3 times has happened in the history.
I don't know, my son. People have tried to figure that out myself. Or just rub me, Mike. People have tried to do it, and I kind of think of many. I know we've had tremendous success, and and we just thank our lucky stars every day. Because
have you made enough money now to move out of your parents' basement?
I haven't made as much money as you.
Yeah, but you're out of your parents' basement now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay.
He let his parents move into his basement.
That's right. So when you joined AC/DC, did your parents say to you, "Oh shit, again with the music"? I mean, why don't you start that motor business?
I think they just knew that there was nothing going to stop me in music. You know, it was a losing battle, and they didn't care so much then. They knew it was always just as long as you're happy, son, just go out and do it.
Did you have vocal training when you were a kid?
No.
Was this encouraged at all?
No.
Where did you sing?
No. In a church choir.
Yeah?
That wasn't vocal training. That was hell on.
It was terrible. Did they ever single you out in church and say, you sing the lead because you're so good?
I was the head choir boy.
You were?
I had the gold chain round my neck.
So you know,
which
in
I
a
tried
way...
to steal, but the chorus...
But at least church allows you to go somewhere to sing where you're not considered a quote-unquote sissy for singing, right?
That's right. Well, you got money.
Right.
The paid
you got paid.
Right.
So okay. So you get into AC/DC. Do they whip you right into the recording studio? Because some of the songs on the first album you recorded with them were actually written by Bon Scott, right?
No.
None of them?
Absolutely not at all. That's
Zero songs.
Zero songs.
I thought they had a couple that were written by Bon.
Absolutely not.
The whole album was a collaboration between you and these new Nudniks.
Yep.
Okay. And you get in the studio, and how long does it take you to record?
6 weeks.
6 weeks for the entire album.
6 weeks for the entire
album.
album.
Isn't that the magic? Write together.
They don't. But isn't that the magic of music in a way? These guys who labor over shit for fucking years.
Yes.
Just
Sometimes
get in there.
Just get in there and do it.
It was probably the most magical time of my life. I knew something was happening, but it was happening so quick I couldn't grasp it.
Could you grasp that this was going to be a huge album?
Absolutely not. No, I just know one thing. The first song I had to write was "Shook Me All Night Long."
Wow.
And I remember sitting there, you know, and this is when my passion with cars comes in. The first line I wrote was, "She was a fast machine. She kept the motor clean. She was the best damn woman." And I'm writing about cars again.
Right.
And I give it to Mal the next morning. He's going, "Hey, are you writing about cars?" I went, "No." I said, I'm kind of like the women in the car. And he said, "No worries, mate. It sounds great." And so... And that was it, and it's in the book. I talk about.
"You Shook Me All Night Long" was the first song you wrote with those guys.
First song I wrote with them, and I said quite cockily the next day after I'd heard it, the first rough mix, and I was sitting, because we just had a little cassette player in this little house we had, and then the next morning, Mal put it on again. He said, "I'm gonna have a listen to this again, mate." And I sat and I just went, "Do you know, I think that's about the best rock and roll song I think I've ever heard in my life." And I went, "What?" I said, "I'm telling you, I think that's the best."
You feel a little crazy saying that because, you know.
Because I was the new boy, and I said, and Mal said, "You could be right, mate."
No, you sometimes you know when you have magic, and sometimes you don't. And it sounds it's like to say, you know, "Gee, I just read the best movie script in the world." And they go, "Yeah, who wrote it?" I go, "I did."
I did.
You know, it's just crazy. That was a Steven Seagal line.
Right.
But so you begin to compose these songs, but in 6 weeks they're written and recorded.
Yep.
Do you come up with the melody? Do you, like when you go, "You shook me all night long"? Is that you coming up with
partly, it? Partly, I come up with it, but it's partly the fact that the riffs make you do that. You know,
do they though? Like when someone plays, so the guys would come up with these riffs, and then you just go in and you just say, "You shook me all night long."
Yeah.
It's in your head. It's like an amazing process.
Well, it's what you get is like when the boys give us that. It was very rough. It was John, jum, 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 bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. That's all you get.
Right.
Bum, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum. And it just goes on, and then you got to think, now where I start?
Yeah, I mean, I think. Listen,
that sounds a good hole. I'll try this.
You want to know something? You make light of it, but you're right. You know, I'm not a musician, so I can't even understand or comprehend how you walk in and they have those basic chords, and then you come up with this whole melody.
It can be confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's like starting a crossword puzzle. Sometimes, you know, you just go, "How the hell do people do these?" And once you start it,
is it a little embarrassing at first because you don't know where you're going with it?
You got to have balls because you got to tell people, you got to say, "Listen, I'm a big boy now. You know, if you don't like it, there'll be no tears. I'll start again." You know? And basically that's it. But you usually run it through it in your head yourself, and you get rid of all the bull.
Do you ever go back and listen to tracks that didn't work? In other words, where you came up with that melody, and then everyone just said, "Oh, this is the worst melody in the world."
Oh, absolutely. Well, you can tell yourself.
You can.
It just doesn't swing. It doesn't flow. It doesn't do, it just doesn't do what you're supposed to do,
I have a theory, and I think I get from you that this is how you feel as well. There was a certain magic to the fact that you were in a band called the Geordies, and that you, not that you failed, they had some hits, but that you had to even work, and you got ripped off, and you put in these endless hours in church, and then as a young man, kind of trying to figure the whole industry out. And it's a series of years and hard work that go into this, so that by the time you audition for AC/DC, you're really sort of accomplished, and you're ready for that audition. When you see TV shows like American Idol, let's say, do you... all right. It gets you...
he doesn't like it?
You don't like it. Why don't you like it? Is it because these kids don't... Like, the kid who might win is 15 or 16 years old. He hasn't really given it a chance to write a song.
Listen, these kids, God bless them.
Right.
They get hauled into a studio to do one song.
Right.
They get a set from God around them. They get the finest musicians and everything, and they come on, and all their life revolves around is beating everybody else for that one show.
Mm-hmm.
What's he going to do next week? Right. And tonight we have Diddley Bonky doing his song from the 𝗧𝗵𝗲. We haven't got the set, we haven't got the musicians, he can't afford that shit. And here he is. And here he stands for 3 minutes, sings his song. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm off.
Well, in a sense, even singing jingles prepares you to appreciate rock and roll, and also teaches you melody and how to write something quickly. It teaches you how to perform. And these kids on American Idol, in a sense, are denied that. And while they're good singers, they don't learn how to construct a song, how to go in a studio and do all this,
right?
It's
stage work as well. I mean, there's only one way to do it, Howard. Listen, mate, you start off in a young band, you bust your chops, you get on stage, you go into pubs and clubs. They'll tell you if you're good.
Right.
They'll tell you a real smart shot if you're good.
Right.
You learn your trade. You know how to, work an audience. You know how to do an hour and a half set.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and I'm not this old fart that's trying to say, in my day, it happens now.
Right.
Because you understand the process.
Yeah, there's too many broken hearts and broken dreams on these things. These kids suddenly, treated like superstars for a week or something, and they'd stay in hotels, and they've got these guys, and some of them turn into divas overnight.
Right.
They think this is it. I'm destined for greatness. And I said, you're fucking 17, you little shit.
But you're right. I see it to a lesser extent. I see it in radio, where I meet guys who are famous in other areas, and they go, I'm going to go do a radio show. And I sit there and I go, oh, you think you're going to be able to do it?
Yeah. How many people want your job? Because they can do it. I'd like to watch them.
But they didn't do the 15, 20 years of preparing for this. And so, I understand what you're saying, and I think I get it. You were bored during the making of your last album, so that's why you decided to write a book.
Well, it's just, it's a friend of mine, I love after dinner stories, and and I love listening to them, and I love people, because it's a lost art. Not a joke.
Right.
I mean, a wonderful
Good story.
And my friend said, Brian, you're great, and why didn't you write them down?
He does have great stories. When you were a young man and you got to open up for Chuck Berry, for example.
Yes.
Like that was insane, right?
It was, well, it was, he's one of my idols.
Right.
And we supported him for a week in Germany. And at the end of that week, I never bothered him. He used all of our equipment, everything, free, gratis. We just said, oh, no, you have it. And at the end of it, I said, can I have an autograph, Mr. Berry, please? And he went, I do one autograph a day, and I've already done it.
He does one autograph a day, and he's already done it.
I said, well, I'm Brian Johnson, the singer from Geordie, and we've lent you all our equipment. I just need one. He went, he said, you're from Scotland. I said, no, I'm not actually. I'm from England. He said, if I say you're from Scotland, you're from Scotland. I said, So I told him a few things which I can't even say on here. But he was the most miserable git, and he was my hero.
Yeah.
He broke my heart that day, that rotten stinking swine.
He's a legendary prick. Because they say when Chuck Berry, even to this day, goes and does a gig, he brings his own guitar, but he plugs into the local amp.
Doesn't pay the musicians.
No.
He won't go on unless he's got the money in his pocket.
Oh, my goodness.
And he wouldn't even give you an autograph.
Wouldn't give you an autograph.
Maybe he doesn't realize how important he is in rock and roll, and how important he is to guys like you.
Nah, he was just a miserable git.
And what? I mean, so when you had these stories, everyone encouraged you to write them down.
Yeah.
Now, did you actually write them down, or did you have some guy write the book with you?
No. I went to Vancouver and was sat in the studio. And as you know, the singers always do things last. You know, the guys go in with the guitars and the drums and they get a sound. And Brendan O'Brien, the producers, listening to a few of the riffs, see which ones want to do first. It takes a few days, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I had nothing to do, so I just got a legal pad and a pen. And because my memory's so crap,
right?
The only thing I could remember things is with
the cars.
With the cars, like I said before. And so, and from thinking of different cars, all these stories came back, these funny, hilarious stories that I remember. So I literally just wrote them down with a pen and paper.
That's fun.
And then scanned them and sent them off to me pal back in London.
Right.
Who then said, you know, Brian, I think I could get, because he talks like that, he said, I think I can get these published.
Does the band...
And I'll be buggered if he did.
Yeah. And does the band get resentful if they're included in a story?
No, they loved it. I made sure the boys saw it, you know.
Right. You don't want to do anything to piss off your boys. No, Aren't you shocked by guys like Keith Richards, who, like, he came out with a book, and, and he trashed Mick Jagger. And I felt for a Mick Jagger. I did, because, you know, Mick Jagger's been pretty good for Keith Richards and vice versa. Why, you know, talk about he's got a small cock, he's a princess, he's a this, he's a that, like, really knock it. I mean, this is the guy who made him too.
Well, I don't know what, you know, if you cannot speak good of someone, just don't speak at all, really, sometimes.
You feel good about the guys in AC/DC.
I like them, they're my friends.
They are, right? I mean,
my pals, they still are. We still travel together, we still stay in the same dressing room, I mean, which is kind of rare now, which is rare as rock and horse do these days.
You were thinking of actually retiring. You went out on the last tour.
I wasn't thinking about it. I just thought by the end of it I would be too old to do anymore. But keeping fit, and I'm just thinking the age is relative, Jonah. You know, if you want to get out again.
You made something like $100-something million, right? That's what I read.
Not him alone.
Well, the band it's more than $100 million. What was the number? Give me the number.
I'm not telling you.
Wait, I'll look it up. You don't have to tell me.
What part does he get?
You made. Shit, what the hell is the number? I had it here. It was an impressive number. And had you retired, that number would never have happened. And so you go on.
Well, it's just, you know, as I said, it's just relative, and I just feel good. And
Would you quit smoking already, though? I mean, seriously. It drives me crazy that a guy with your voice and your pipes...
Listen, it's like listen to me, Granny.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, what is with you?
Well, I don't smoke much, me son.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
How many cigarettes do you have a day?
5 a day.
5 a day. How do you... I don't know one person...
Why don't you give it up, then?
...who can smoke 5 cigarettes a day. Cigarettes, one thing I know about cigarettes, they get worse. It doesn't get better. What? What are you showing me? Tobacco?
Yeah, that's
so
how
what?
it is. I roll me on. I don't smoke those poisoned white pencil things.
No, you got to quit.
Okay, I'll quit for you.
Doesn't it affect your voice?
Well, of course, that's why I keep smoking.
But don't you care? But even when you laugh, I hear the cigarettes in you. I worry about you.
Oh, well, that's nice of you, Howard. I'm getting an injection in about 4 weeks from this doctor. I don't
what is that
know,
gonna do?
But it's supposed to stop.
You have the willpower to stop. You can stop it.
I hope my doctor's not listening to this. He'll be just going, yeah, that's not Howard's telling him now.
You can do it. You write in your book that in the 80s, it was $105 million, the tour, by the way. $105 million.
In America.
In America. We're not even counting the book.
No.
How much overseas?
I'm not telling you, Howard. You're a nosy little bugger. Look at him.
I'm so glad you got out of your parents' house.
Yes.
Finally made enough money to do that. So there's a couple of things. You say in the 80s everything changed because of AIDS. The groupie thing went out the window.
Oh, there was
Were
a
you
terror.
big
The
into
terror went
that?
across the land.
Yeah? Were you big into the groupie thing?
Oh, no, it all just happened to me, dog. It was one of them things. And like one of the chapters I talk about tour buses, and one of the great... the holiest of holy places was the back lounge in a tour bus.
Yeah.
Lounge.
The holiest of holies.
Yeah, well, you know, it's
lounge where you feel comfortable pulling down your pants and getting a blowjob.
Every group you wanted to see the roof of, you know, and you'd, in the mornings when you'd get back in there and you'd see the fuge of smoke from the Lord's lettuce smoked the night before. And you see the bodies on the floor naked, and the guys with the last willy standing competition.
Is it embarrassing? Is it embarrassing being in the back of the bus with the other bandmates and the roadies and stuff?
Everybody together.
And your cock isn't. I don't know how big your dick is, but Is it embarrassing if you don't have a big dick and everyone's dick is out and they're getting blowjobs?
I think it's too dark and nasty to fucking tell everybody.
Oh, good.
Those were the days, but these were distant days, young Howard. These were
and then AIDS
hazy memories.
And then AIDS hit.
Lots and lots of lawsuits. Why is it that this country has 5% of the world's population and 70% of the world's lawyers?
Were you sued a lot by women?
No.
They
couldn't catch him. We used to
He'd be out of town before they knew.
But the AIDS virus put that.
It was a terrifying thing.
That was the end.
Stopped you cold.
Time to get
everybody.
married. Yeah. It's, how tall are you?
5'6".
Do you think that helped you get the job in the band? Because
Probably because I'm the tallest.
Because all of the guys are exceptionally short. When I worked with you guys on my movie, I remember standing on stage with you, and I said, gee, all the guys, I mean, you're 5'6", the other guys are what, 5'2"?
Well, Phil's about 5'5", Cliff's about 5'6" as well.
Yeah, it would have been weird if you were this big 6'5" guy.
If I'd have been 6'5", it would have been daft.
Yeah, I don't think it would have worked out.
It wouldn't have worked out at all.
By the way, the book is called Rockers and Rollers, an automotive autobiography.
I thought he was going to mention it sometime.
Paul Newman was a famous actor. You met him. He thought you were part of his race car driving team.
What?
Yeah. So Brian walks up to Paul Newman and stuff, and I guess Brian, I don't know, for some reason doesn't look like a rock star. And so Paul Newman assumed, Paul Newman was a race car driver.
He's a part of the crew?
He thought that Brian was part of the crew.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you go along with it and just work on his car?
Well,
I mean, you are skilled in that.
Well, I've been with him, met him a few times at race meetings, at drivers meetings, and because we raced in the same races together and such.
Right.
And he invited us up to the Vancouver Grand Prix, and I was standing there in the pits with some of these guys, and it was raining, and then it stopped raining, and it was raining, and they didn't know whether to put wet or dry tires on. And I was standing beside him, and he looked at me and he said, "Well, what do you think? Wet or dry?" And I just went, "Paul, I don't work for you." He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "I'm absolutely positive." He said, well, I've seen you so many times round. I said, "I know, but I'm in a band called AC/DC." And he went, "Oh, you're right. I've heard of you." I said, "No, you haven't."
You were angry with the TV show Pimp My Ride because you're so passionate about cars. You don't understand why anyone would pimp a ride.
Yeah.
In other words,
to that extent.
Well, because isn't it arrogant of someone to think that they could do a better design than the Porsche guys?
Yes, exactly.
Porsche is a pretty smart company.
Yeah, so is BMW, so is Mercedes. They're pretty cool guys, and they know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
And then when you watch these oafs, I think is the best word I can use for it, start to pull these things to bits, and I'm going, what are they doing? And then I got this 75-inch bass speaker when I'm putting into the whole floor, so the whole car jumps. And again,
it's an insult to BMW and Mercedes.
Yes, it's egotism. How many listeners here listening to me now have sat outside and having a nice cup of coffee, and some dingbat comes right next at the lights, and it's just boom.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting going, and honestly, that's when I really wished I'd had a hand grenade for Christmas.
You know what? I agree with you. I even see with my cell phone and stuff. Like the Apple company is so smart with these phones. Then you see guys who have to customize them or break them and change them. I go, what? You think Apple hasn't put some thought into this already?
It's
arrogant.
But anyway, if you're out there, I've got the hand grenades.
You talk about a time when your bus driver was a born-again Christian, but you even say in the book, born-again Christian, yes, but 10 groupies would be blowing this guy on the bus.
So that's when the Christianity would go out the window.
That's when God goes right out the window, right?
Well, he did say, "Oh, my Lord."
He prayed over each of the girls.
Why does AC/DC travel with oxygen tanks? Are you that physical on stage that you need to get oxygen?
Well, you need it basically because of most bands do it. You have to do it. It's a safety thing, but we need it especially because sometimes it can get up to about 120, 125 degrees on the stage, especially if you're playing outside in hot countries. And and me and Angus do move around a bit, and when you come off, you're literally you're so dehydrated.
Right.
Many a time I come off and get some oxygen, but then I have to sit after a gig with a needle in my arm and a pint of saline drip just to just to
Put liquid
hydrate
back in,
myself.
yeah.
No kidding.
Oh, absolutely.
You
it's
thought
cool.
this
Used to it
was
now.
an easy job.
No wonder you said, hey, at some point, how can I keep doing this?
Exactly. It's just one of them things. You don't want to push yourself to the limit, but I feel strong enough, but I know what I've just done.
Is it because you're a physical band, you guys move around, and also the singing, it's intense?
High. It's high and intense, and you have to keep it up there, otherwise you just sound like a wimp.
People don't realize that you still care. Like, you could probably take your voice down a couple of registers and just kind of wing it, and then maybe sing with a track and bullshit everybody.
Yeah, you're cheating.
You wouldn't cheat.
Yeah, no,
you're an honest man.
You can't cheat because they'll find out.
The fans will know.
And then what? The next thing they say is, he's doing it for the money.
Right.
And that's the thing. I always try to keep away from. We want them all there to know that we're there for them.
Right.
And
you
it's
care
simple.
about it.
It's an old-fashioned thing, and if anybody thinks it's poxy, well, screw them. But
no,
that's
it's
the
sweet.
truth,
I think that's why you guys are still successful, that you're not singing to a track. I know you could do that. You could probably not have to do the oxygen tank and the drips into your arm.
You could sit on a stool. You didn't have to move even.
But the shows wouldn't have the same impact.
No, it wouldn't.
You get angry with fans who don't realize how much work goes into an AC/DC show, because you've taken it up with fans on the internet and said they criticize your set list, because once you come up with a set list for a tour, it drives you crazy. The fans will write you. You say even a guy came into your hotel room.
That's right.
How did he get into your hotel room to complain about the set list?
No, he was in the bar downstairs.
Yeah.
And he came up and he was a German guy. This is not good. You must. This is what you must play. And I said, who are you?
Right.
And he said, I am a super fan. Because we have these super fans that follow us. And I am tired. I have seen now 50 shows, and you play the same thing. I said, yes, I know we play the same thing, because we've got 50 technicians back there with all this stuff. And if we just throw a song in, we screw them all up. It's a big operation.
It is a big operation.
It's not a club we're playing at. And of course we'd like to change, but we can't.
Right. In other words, you
can't
can't just say, when you're doing stadium touring, you can't just say one night, oh, you know what, we're going to throw this new song in. There's got to be preparation. In other words, the board has to be mixed properly. It's a science.
Well, you're going to throw the guy the lights off. The guy who's doing the lights, because it's computerized, but he's doing it as well. And then all of a sudden, what the?
Right.
I don't know what to do for
You
this
can't
song.
program the show for the lunatics who follow you around the country. I mean, it's a very complimentary thing, but in other words, the set list is the set list. But it really gets under your skin when people write, oh, they didn't change the set list.
Yeah, well, it just, they're not thinking of the kids who haven't seen us before.
That's right.
And these kids want to, you have to keep your standards in, your Back in Blacks and Highway to Hells and Dirty Deeds. You must keep them in. That's it's a standard.
Yeah, and you can't play just a super fan.
If I see AC/DC, I want to see those songs. I want to hear them, and I want to see them put it together. Speaking of You Shook Me All Night Long, Celine Dion did a version of You Shook Me All Night Long.
I've heard, yeah.
Is that a weird thing
that
for
must
you?
be rocking.
What is that?
Well, she must have balls to try it. I'll give her that.
Did you hear it?
No, I haven't heard it yet.
She does it in Vegas, I believe.
Oh, God. She does it on stage?
Come on. That doesn't irritate you a little bit?
Well, no. I don't know. I've never thought about it, actually.
Is it a compliment?
I don't know. We're crossing borders here, I think.
Well, tell me, is it a compliment or not?
East meets West. Holy moly.
Is it a compliment when Celine Dion sings You Shook Me All Night Long?
Well, I guess it is. She thinks it's good enough to put in our set list. And,
so they don't have to ask you permission. They just go ahead and do it.
No, they don't. They can do any time they like. So, well, good on you, Celine. You are.
Well, I like it. I like it. Well, listen to me. You're doing well, my friend.
Thank you, Howard, me son.
I love you.
Quit smoking.
What?
That's what you need to do. Quit smoking.
Quit smoking. You still drinking?
Oh, now you're killing it.
How much are you drinking? How much are you drinking?
I like a glass of wine.
One?
No, 2 or 3.
2 or 3 a night?
Uh-huh.
Are you an alcoholic?
Now, get the hell out of here.
What?
An alcoholic.
Are you an alcoholic?
Absolutely not.
What?
Absolutely not.
Could you stop drinking tomorrow?
Sure, I could. I've done it before.
You've done it many times.
When I work out and I have to do, when I go racing for the week, you can't drink when you're racing.
You still race?
Absolutely.
You're not worried about your health? You're not worried about crashing that fucking car into the wall?
I nearly did the other day at Road Atlanta. My steering wheel came out doing $1.50 down the straightaway in the corner.
You got such a great life. What are you doing? You going to crash into a wall and end it all? You got to go fast in a car.
Yes, sir, Bob. It's the best fun you can have with your clothes on.
What did you do? You have no steering wheel. Did you broke in time before it turned?
I braked 2 foot from the wall, me darling.
Wow.
Why did you have no steering wheel?
Me ass was going like a rabbit's nose. I want you to get a good visual of that.
Why did you have no steering wheel?
Something broke.
Have you ever won a race?
Sure.
A big race?
Yeah.
You're no kidding.
I've got the cups and the champagne and the photographs to prove it. Yeah. I want some.
And the
races.
wife is all right?
Yeah, she races too.
She
is
does.
that right?
Still in love?
Yeah.
Still having a lot of
We're
sex?
not getting into this personal shit
Right,
again.
here we go.
He's
Right,
doing
enough
all
of
this
that.
stuff again. And he does it every time. Yeah.
I see a lot of fans had questions. I apologize. I monopolized.
hogged all
I
the
hogged
time.
all of Brian's time.
I had a bit of a blabbermouth there.
I am a
I'm going to have to
blabbermouth.
get on to you about that.
Here, let me see what some of these. Have hotel maids ever tried to fuck Brian? Has a hotel maid ever tried to fuck you?
No, there was this French guy once, though. I didn't like him.
What is your? Here's another one from Speech Impediment Man. What is Brian's favorite song? What is your favorite song of all time, in the whole wide world?
Lowrider by War.
No kidding.
Yes, sir. It's got
Mm-hmm.
everything.
It has everything.
Everything. You put that in your car and drive, it has everything.
Do you know Eric Burden?
I did know him I haven't seen him for a long, long time.
Yeah, where's he hiding? In his parents' house, probably.
Yeah.
How many cars does Brian have from Nick in Lake Tahoe? How many cars you got?
11.
11 cars.
Wow.
4 of them race cars.
And what else? Who cares? All right, listen, I'll let you go. All right, he's got to do his signing.
Yes,
All right,
enough.
go prepare. We'll be back right after these words. The great Brian Johnson, everybody.
You genial giant, you. He's a cheeky fucker, this one.
That's right, I am.
Hey, all right, Dummy.
You're looking good,
Are you
man.
getting taller?
And you're getting, you look like you've been working out very hard.
I've been working out.
Yeah, you look good.
And smoking at the same time.
Do you run at all?
No, swim, ride, and an hour in the gym every day.
Now, when you race cars, is that a very physical thing? Like, do you can get you in shape?
It'll kill you. You do an hour race, it's about 130 degrees in the cockpit. And, the G-forces on your legs and on your arms. And,
It's
the
in other words, it's a
concentration.
workout.
But it's a real workout, I'm telling you. But when you do well and you're coming up and you get on the podium, it's a great feeling.
Wow.
Great feeling. Hello, little Robin.
Robin's a race car driver.
It's my favorite rack.
Robin is a race car driver.
You're not alone. Ooh, quite fun.
You're too funny.
Oh, and when to love you, but still say
They don't let you sing that in AC/DC.
That you can relax. The world will... So that's enough, the fucking cameras. I was just having a quick feel there. Sorry about that, Robin.
It's good to see you.
Robin getting serenaded in the morning.
Got away with women.
Oh,
Chased her right out of the room.
Well, I get women fucked because of who I am, a rapist. Right?
Hey, Brian, thanks.
See you later.
Great interview. Really, seriously, good luck with the book.
Very hard. It's just one of them things. I'll see you later and have a good rest of the show.
Thanks. Hey, Brian, can I get a quick picture? You want to grab your...
The question you asked before.
We do that right after the
9 inches.
Okay, hold on.
Question you didn't want to tell us we have a big cost. 9 inches.
Thanks, Brian.
See you later, lads. Have a good one. Which we'll go there. Thank you very much.
Brian,
What?
Howard called you a living legend.
I paid him lots of money for that.
Did you feel the same way about Howard?
No, he's no tot. Nah, he's a good kid. Just lost his way a little. Come off the rails. But I'll sort him out.
You'll set him straight?
Yeah, I'll set him straight. Eventually. Fucking if there's hope.
Brian, when you write a book about a lot of the experiences you've had over the
We're
years...
still fucking going. Hang on, what? Are you mentioning the book now? Thank Christ for that.
Yeah, well, I have to. But when you talk about that and all the experiences you've had, and in a brief period you thought about maybe this would be the end and retiring. How much longer do you see AC/DC going on for? Like, how much longer do you want to do this for?
I don't know. As long as we can stand up, as long as we can play, and as long as we've got the belief that we can do it, and we've still got the passion, I think we could go till we fall off the end of the stage. Really, I mean, we don't care. but we're wise enough to know when it wouldn't be right. You know, if you were just going up there and it looked like you were just up there for the money, that's the.
Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
What's happening?
Welcome back, man.
These. Look at this artwork. You guys are really, really classed up the place.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This is gorgeous. Well done. Where do we go?
All right, this way, right this way. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good.
Thank you.
I'm happy to be back, yeah. We have a book, yeah.
Cool.
I'm psyched. This is great. How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. So you're a regular listener.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I listen all the time, every morning, whenever I can. Wherever I can. When I get the time, I put it on.
You know your stuff. You're ready for this.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be super fun. I can't wait to see everybody. This is the best show on radio. This is the greatest. It's a little early for me.
I know.
So it's going to take me a second to get into it, but I get pumped up. I can do it.
Get loose.
I know, exactly.
All right, man. Good luck today.
Yeah, thanks, but I brought my guitar. I brought my harmonica. I'm not sure if I'll